think we're live. Holy shit. I think I hit the button and now we're live. My watch page is on. Oh shit. We're live. And I forgot everything I was going to talk about. Just kidding. I totally remember everything I was going to talk about and more. All right. Are you guys ready to get the party started? You guys ready to have some fun tonight? Let's just chat then, shall we? Exactly. Q and V's up in his house. He says, greetings all. Got Anthony Rodriguez here. He says, let's go. Anarchy's in the house. The Anarchy. I don't know if you've ever heard of Anarchy. He's here in person and he's laughing his ass off at me right now because I'm hilarious. I know. I am the funniest motherfucker who ever fucked this funky fucking place. I'm pretty sure. And if you disagree, then you're in the wrong fucking place. All right. Hell yes, the one and only. How do you do? All right. Good times. All right. So I didn't go into detail what exactly I was going to talk about tonight, and I kind of left it up to speculation so that everybody has no clue where I'm going to go with this thing. So I have a little bit of a plan, but I'm going to make up most of it as I go along. So should be a fun stream. I was thinking we would start by watching some more college shit because it hasn't went away. I thought that they were done with the college shit. They ripped down the college protest shit. I thought it was done. Nope, still going. If they keep up with a story for longer than a week, that's bad news. It's usually bad if they keep up with a story longer than a week. It should have gone away, and it didn't. So that means they have extra plans for this shit. So tonight, I thought we would watch some footage of what these protests look like and really run them through a fine-tooth comb. And I want to show you guys some examples of how what we're seeing isn't actual violence, but it's a lot closer to pro wrestling or pro football. So I'm going to teach people how to decipher between simulated violence on TV and real violence. You guys are my audience, so a lot of you already know the type of thing I'm going to be laying down tonight, which is truth, but there's always people who need to learn and need to be taught. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Going to teach people how to truth. I'm going to teach y'all how to truth just in case any of you guys need to know how to do that. So, you guys ready? All right. Well, jump right on in. Grab my first video. All right. So I found this protest footage that is extra long. It's like an hour's worth of footage. So there's a lot to go through, and we're not going to watch all of it, but I want to watch like a chunk of this with you guys, and I want us as a team to point out all the stuff that's wrong here. So That's what I thought we would start off with tonight. This is footage from one of these college campus protests. I think it was the one in UCLA. Yeah, UCLA. And we're going to watch it, and we're going to pick out issues with this. All right. And away we go.
It's like bear spray. It looks like a bear spray canister. On the pro-Israeli protesters just now started dismantling the encampment here, the pro-Palestinian encampment. It was about 10 minutes ago, and mostly men wearing masks came running up, overwhelmed security, and began pulling back the metal barricades that you can see right here. They've been trying to pull down some of the makeshift plywood that has also been used to set up this pro-Palestinian encampment. The security who have been surrounding this encampment, you can see some of these people right here. They're carrying the Israeli flag. Many of them are wearing hoodies. And look at this guy right here in the white mask. See this guy right here in the white mask? Many of them came running up wearing masks looking just like this one. Kind of a frightening scene, to be honest with you. Well, they all ran up. They began pulling out these barricades, and now they're actively trying to dismantle the makeshift wood that is surrounding this pro-Palestinian. And now if you look over to our right, we see pepper spray. I don't know if that's police or protesters, but someone is spraying pepper spray. More people are running out of the encampment now. That definitely looks like bear spray. It looks like a bear spray canister. They are spraying each other. And you can see that as this crowd gets more agitated, as these little skirmishes.
Okay, a lot to soak up. So if you just see like a 5 to 10 second splice on the news, it's a lot different than when you watch 10 straight minutes or even one straight full minute. To sit and watch a full minute and then watch another minute and another minute and another minute, it really starts to become clear this is not real violence. So what are we looking at? An open field. And it's dark, but the cameramen are out and people have their cell phones and they're out taping. And there's one side that's barricaded behind some wood. And then some random participants who are all cloaked and clothed, can't see their face. You have no idea which side is which. And they start having a kerfuffle, a scuffle. And then you see some spray, and the news is like, oh, that's bear spray. Yeah, that's pepper spray. How do we know? How do we know if it's really bear spray? So we see a kerfuffle. But how do we really know? What side is what side? In that kerfuffle that we just saw, who is what? Who's really being hurt? Could you make it out? I couldn't. See how that works? Now watch. I've already seen this footage, so I already know what happens. Watch how in the next minute, they're just going to forget all about what just happened and then focus on other stuff going on. And then in the next minute and the next minute, they're just going to keep talking and they're just going to forget all about those people who supposedly just got bear sprayed. Watch.
Break out, this crowd gets more agitated, and that group that we saw walking away a minute ago now appears to be running back up. Campus police are nowhere in sight at this moment, but we can tell you that if you look across at the Palestinian side, the pro-Palestinian side, you can see that some of these demonstrators, they have opened up umbrellas, essentially trying to prevent any of that bear spray from getting on them. Meantime, others are trying to put some of these barricades back in.
And just like that, all those people that were ganging up on the one guy, they're gone. The bear spray victim, gone. You notice that? They just panned away and then went back to the same scene. Yeah, all that chaos. Now they're moving on to the next thing. So we just saw someone be a victim of supposed bear spray, but then They're gone. Next thing, the next match. It's like the next pro wrestling match now is scheduled. So that was match number 1. And now here comes match number 2.
Place, but again, security retreated when all of this happened. These are unarmed security officers. Someone just threw some sort of explosive or firework. Okay, just a firework. All right, this is definitely getting kind of out of hand. The police are nowhere in sight.
A firework. Ooh. You guys, a firework. Oh, it's getting out of hand. A man planted a firework in front of the news cameras, you guys. Ooh, scary. And it just so happened to have a warning flash and then the big pop. And then people went, ah, and screamed. Was anyone hurt? No. It was just a guy lighting off a firework. And fireworks are designed to really not hurt anyone. You pretty much have to be holding one in your hand when it goes off to even get burned. So fireworks are designed not to hurt people and to be flashy. Woo! Colorful. Bang, pow, pop. Woo! Happy 4th of July. It's meant to be a celebration, right? So we're to believe that a protester is like, I'm going to bring this firework to the protest. And then I'm going to light it off nice and casually in front of the crowd. That's going to show my stance on the war. Right? You got to show your stance that you're against the war by lighting off fireworks. Yee-hee! It's so ridiculous. Well, Jake, protesters throw fireworks at the cops because they want to burn the cops. Oh, they want to burn the cops? So this is like a real dangerous thing that just happened? Yeah, Jake, it's dangerous. That guy was trying to burn the cops. So he's against the war, and he wants to burn the cops with a firework. Because if you burn a cop or a security guard with a firework, then you're going to stop the war. Yeah, see, doesn't make sense, does it? You know what makes the most sense? Light off firework in front of camera. People who are watching television assume chaos. That's it. It's a production to simulate chaos. And what are they using? Fireworks. Something people use to celebrate a good time. You want to celebrate a good time on 4th of July? Yeah, let's get together and light some fireworks. Everyone loves that. Yeah. Well, apparently protesters who are against the war, they want to bring fireworks so that they can entertain the police and the TV cameras. Gotta love it. Here's the deal. You spot fireworks, that's a dead giveaway. That's a dead giveaway that what you're watching ain't real. Look at this.
Inside, you can see that some of these demonstrators, they have opened up umbrellas, essentially trying to prevent any of that bear spray from getting on them. Meantime, others are trying to put some of these barricades back in place. But again,
so it's clear. The coast is clear. They cleared out the bear spray, people. Now cue the guy with the firework. Cue the firework. And look, who did the firework blow up and hurt? Nobody. It didn't hurt anybody. Look, see? Nice and safe. And it does a warning flash and then a big one. See, that's a stadium-style firework. I know my fireworks. That's a stadium-style firework. You're supposed to shoot those up in the air. And they give a warning shot, and then they give the big kaboom. And so basically, if you don't shoot it in the air, it's like this mushroom-looking pod that has a fuse sticking out of it. And if you light it off on the ground, that's what it looks like. So that's a stadium-style firework meant to be shot up in the air and he's just lighting it off on the ground in front of the TV cameras. So they can create a situation where it looks like violence on TV, it looks like chaos, but really it's a firework that's not hurting anyone. And then who brings the firework and why? And why do you strategically set it off in front of the camera? Unless you're hired to do that. Unless you're specifically the firework guy, there's not a reason to bring one, right? All right.
All right, this is definitely getting kind of out of hand. The police are nowhere in sight. We want to show you what happened just a short moment ago. Take a look at this video. In this video, you can see the.
Okay, so when the police want to break it all up, they're there in a second and they dismantle everything in a minute. So when the police want to dismantle everything, they do it quickly and swiftly without a problem. But in this moment, they're letting people light off fireworks and bear spray each other. And they're just standing by. The police are too scared to do anything. The police are too scared. Oh, but when it comes time to break it down, once the production is over, they rip it down in a minute. They rip it down in a minute and no one stops them. Not one person brings a lethal weapon and tries to stop the police. And the police didn't have to resort to any lethal force. How about that? How about that? All these people, and you got people sneaking in fireworks, but not one person brought in a weapon of lethal force. Cool. So it's like they're protesters and they're mad and they're out of control, but they're not bringing actual real weapons to the protest. And they're not hurting each other. They'll pepper spray each other. They want each other to sting. Ow! But they don't want to actually bash each other's heads in. So do I see anyone bleeding? Do I see anyone getting their head kicked in? No. But I'm to believe people are getting sprayed. All right.
Protesters dismantling some of those barricades right there. Again, that was taken right as all of this was happening. Again, pro-Israeli demonstrators now attempting to dismantle the pro-Palestinian encampment here at UCLA between Royce Hall and Powell Library. It has become chaotic, it has become tense, and police are nowhere on site. It was calm most of the day, but tonight the situation has escalated dramatically. Here's what it looked like earlier today.
Summer. It's the hungriest time of year for kids across America. Kids whose hardworking families are struggling.
Tonight, the pro-Palestinian encampment that has overtaken Dixon Plaza at UCLA and Powell Library until Monday. Meantime, at USC, the main commencement ceremony remains canceled. However, 47 people behind the makeshift wood planks who are inside the encampment and the people here who are now trying to tear it down and dismantle it. Also, right before we went to air, we saw someone with what looked like a bear spray canister get into a fight and spray several other people. That prompted the pro-Palestinian demonstrators to open up.
All right, y'all. I got it. I'm going to lay it all out in a nutshell right here. I'm going to tie it up with a little bow. Check it out. So people are having pretend fights over pieces of plywood and steel railing. I'm going to put this piece of plywood right here. No, you're not. You better take that piece of plywood down. Oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to take this guardrail and I'm going to shove it over. You better not shove that guardrail over. I'm going to put the guardrail back up. Oh, yeah? Well, then I'm going to take a piece of plywood and put it right here. Oh, you better not put a piece of plywood right there. If you put a piece of plywood right there, I'm going to scream really loud and spray you with bear spray. Oh, yeah? Well, if you spray me with bear spray, I'm going to grab a metal barricade and I'm going to shove it. I'm going to shove that piece of plywood and metal barricade hard as I can. I'm going to try not to hurt you in the process. I'm going to shove that piece of plywood so hard. I don't want to hurt you, but I'm going to pick up that metal barricade and I'm going to slam it down because I'm so angry about the war. See what I'm saying? So it's like their all their frustration gets taken out on all this like plywood and steel barricades. If you really watch, like a lot of the anger and frustration is like, fuck you, steel barricade. I hate plywood. I don't like plywood. And then here are the real students. The real students are these ones on the phone on the sidelines. Like these liberal chicks are on the phone. Like people are like going crazy. One guy, like he tried to blow us up with fireworks. Oh my God. There was a guy, he tried to blow everyone up with, I'm not kidding. He totally lit a fucking like, it was like a bomb firework or something. And he was trying to blow everyone up. He must have been one of those like anti-Israel guys or something. It's fucking scary. Right? So the real college students are the ones who are outside the barricades with their phones filming the whole thing. And then the paid participants are the ones inside who are on camera who get to light off the fireworks. See? I got it. I fucking nailed it, dude. I tied this one up in a knot. That one's dead in the water. We can keep watching, but that's pretty much it. The real college students are that chick on screen right there talking on the phone. That's the real college student. The people in the background fighting over plywood and metal barricades, pretending to fight, I should say. Those are the paid participants. They're getting $19 an hour to be there. They're getting bussed in. That's the Soros money. The actual college kids who are useful idiots are right here on the phone. Like, oh my God, I came to the protest and like, I'm getting out of here because some guy like threw a firework and I almost died. All right. Looks like I'm getting a few laughing emojis for my liberal on campus impression. That's my impression of some liberal on that campus who believes the whole thing's legit. I was there. He tried to blow everyone up with like a stick of dynamite or something. We're having fun. You guys having fun? Hit the thumbs up button if you're having fun tonight.
Umbrellas to prevent any more people on their side of the fence essentially from being sprayed. And right now the crowd here in the quad outside of Royce Hall continues to swell, continues to grow. And what we're seeing basically is just a lot of unrest as tensions continue to flare here on the campus of UCLA. Share Micah.
So you're describing a very difficult and challenging situation for the university tonight, John. Initially describing some 100 people, and now it appears the crowd continues to grow. And again, no law enforcement in sight. You described security guards unarmed security guards retreating and taking cover. And we saw a moment ago, John, physical violence break out there on the lawn.
Okay, so here's the reasoning behind the whole deal. They want to erode away at the First Amendment, and they can pass laws against hate speech, let's say, over incidences like this. And they can also tighten up security on these college campuses and make it easier for them to perform these operations on college campuses in the process. I mean, we're getting to the point where they could say, oh, there's an issue on a college campus, so therefore lockdown for 100-mile radius of this college because there's an issue. So there's a whole lot of stuff they can accomplish here with this make-believe division. And of course, there's always the division aspect. They can get you to pick a side in the controlled division here. Oh, you're either pro-Palestine or you're anti-Palestine, right? You're either with the Jays or you're against the Jays, right? They got to make you pick a side here. And in doing so, the people who haven't really figured out what's going on will think it's more of a Biden versus Trump thing. And so they can get you on a smaller level to make your political decision over some shit like this. And they can get you, if you're a Trumper, to rally behind the police in the situation. I hope the police get in there and tear those encampments down. We don't do that shit here in Georgia, in our state. You know what I'm saying? So there's guys that will root for the cops in this situation. And if they get you rooting for one side or the other, they got you. So the right-winger stance is going to be that these college kids are stupid and the cops need to come in and shut this shit down. And the liberal stance is that the cops need to stay off the campuses and the kids that are against the war are doing the right thing. And of course, my stance is like, this whole shit is fake and staged. That's always my stance, is this whole shit is staged. This ain't really happening for real. So yeah, beings we're in an election year, they need to use skirmishes like this to make people pick a political party over the other. They want you to be firmly invested in one of their puppets that they have representing their parties. It doesn't matter which one you go with, whether you go with Trump or whether you go with Biden. As long as you pick one of them, they got you. What they don't want you doing is talking about how the whole thing is corrupt and needs to be replaced. Oh, I've talked about the elections being selections many times. So I've made videos about Joe Biden not being a real guy and being played by actors wearing a mask. So I believe our current president is not an actual guy, but imposters wearing a Joe Biden mask. And they have a CGI Joe that will look like a real Joe Biden, but it's just CGI pixels on a screen. So between AI CGI Joe and then the actors wearing the masks, there is no real Joe Biden. So as far as the election being fake, man, I'm on to bigger things like Joe Biden not being a real guy. You know? So the election being fake is kids stuff. That's like entry-level conspiracy shit. The next level is to call out the fact that Joe Biden is not a real guy. And you have to be firm in your belief and be able to stand in your own two shoes and take on any criticism. Like, you're fucking crazy. You don't think Joe Biden is a real guy? Get out your tinfoil hat. Trust me, I've heard it all. No, I don't think Joe Biden is just a regular guy. In fact, I've seen Dana Carvey do a damn near perfect Joe Biden impression. And if you were to put the Joe Biden CIA mask on Dana Carvey, he is Joe Biden. I believe Dana Carvey has played the part of Joe Biden on some occasions. I don't think he plays it all the time. And I think Jim Carrey pretended to be Joe Biden when he comedically walked up the stairs to Air Force One and fell down. Very Jim Carrey like the way Joe Biden fell down walking up the stairs in that one shot. So I think they've used Dana Carvey, Jim Carrey, and a plethora of other actors to really throw us off the scent of Joe Biden. I think if you can put that mask on and become Joe, well, the public's dumb enough to believe it as long as they see that face on screen. All right, so we've watched 10 minutes of this riot, and it's literally just the same shit over and over. Oh, look, some people look like they're fighting over plywood. Oh, some guy got bear sprayed. Oh, a firework. Oh, scary. That's it. Over and over and over. So now I've taught you, if you see fireworks in a riot, then it's staged. Especially if they light them off right in front of the TV camera. And then the news anchor goes, whoa, this is getting out of hand and scary. I'm just going to keep standing right here. I'm not going to go anywhere. All right. Scully the Hypno Skull says Tom Cruise wears aviator glasses from Top Gun when he is Biden double. So there's a whole lot of theories out there of who's playing who. As far as Tom Cruise goes, that's not the same Tom Cruise now as it was back in like the first Top Gun. The first Top Gun, risky business Tom Cruise, like late 80s, early 90s Tom Cruise, that's a different guy than whoever the hell is pretending to be Tom Cruise now. It's pretty obvious if you really look and you really pay attention. And the fact he was in Mission Impossible where they would whoosh, tear off a mask and be a completely different person. And they made it out like, yeah, you know, it's just like a movie thing where you whoosh, tear off a mask and you're a different person. But no, that's a real thing. And that technology has existed for decades. So imagine if money is no object and you can create the most realistic mask possible and mold it to someone's face. That's a pretty big deal, that mask. If it, you know, if you create one that's so realistic that you can become that person, you can't just let the public have something like that. In fact, it might be best not to let the public know about something like that, wouldn't you think? So most of the public thinks it's impossible that there's a mask that is so realistic that you could trick people into thinking you're Tom Cruise. But if you're the right height and the right body style, and you had the Tom Cruise mask or the Joe Biden mask, you will be that person. As long as all you had to do was stand there and just look like him for a second, you could pull it off if you had that mask. All right, John Zimmer coming in with a donation. I think this is the first super chat of the night. I hope I haven't missed any. I have been running my mouth the whole time. So John Zimmer says, welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Dana, Jim, yep, seems likely there's a sucker born every minute. So Dana Carvey is one of the best impressionists that I've ever seen. And he does a really strong Joe Biden impression, and he does it comedically over the top on purpose, because if he was to do it for real, it would be too good and it wouldn't be that funny. So in order for it to be funny, he has to like over the top Joe Biden it and make him like say something ridiculous to make it funny. So when he does his Joe Biden impression, he goes extra hard to make it funny rather than accurate. So I know he's talented enough that if he wasn't trying to be funny and more accurate, that he's good enough to be the best possible Joe Biden that maybe anyone could be. Dana Carvey has the skill. If he has the mask and was so inclined, he could be Dana Carvey so easily and trick everybody who isn't aware that that's a possibility. Do I think he does it full time? No, I don't. But I think he has done it. In fact, shit, since I'm talking about it, I might as well pull up a his impression. That way, you're not just taking my word for it. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this, but in case you haven't,
I started with Biden because the border's all the rage now. Everyone's crazy for the border. So I did Biden 3 years ago, and he's at a press conference. Mr. President, do you have any idea how you're going to handle the crisis at the border? And Biden's like, first of all, let's get our facts straight. There's no crisis at the border. Come on. And he goes, how do you know, sir? He goes, because it says so on the piece of paper. Come on. He says on the paper. Says the paper right there. And then recently, everyone wants to close the border. Everyone's screaming. Biden's up there. I'll close the border harder than anyone's ever closed the border. I know how to close borders. Come on, Jack. And the press is like, but last time, get your facts straight. I'll beat you the hell out of you. Will you dog paste pony's shoulder? Come on, let's do some push-ups. I'll close the border like nobody's ever closed it. The border patrol, the border can't believe it's not butter.
yeah, see, the can't believe it's not butter line is just pure comedy. Something Joe Biden never said. So he's tagging it and making it over the top, just comedic. But it's like, dude, if you weren't trying to be funny and if you had Joe Biden's mask on, you could do that part and 99% of the public or more is going to buy it, dude. So even though he's kidding around, if he wasn't kidding around and trying to do his best and he didn't do the can't believe it's not butter line and was seriously just trying to make it as accurate as possible, that guy right there, if you give him the CIA mask, he is Joe Biden. Understand? He might not be as tall as Joe is supposed to be. That don't matter. Stick him on some platforms, whatever you need to do, you can make all that happen. That guy right there is Joe Biden if you stick the mask on his face. You can see it in the eyes. He's doing the face right now. Joe Biden's face looks like a latex artificial thing, and it looks like it's on top of somebody like that. That's the best I can explain it. Look, I am one of the best impressionists of the modern age, one of the best impressionists you can find. And what I'm telling you is like that man is exceptional at doing impressions. He can do George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., he can do Arnold. He has a serious range, and that guy has talent in a way that other Hollywood comedians don't have. And that if you put that mask on him, he is Joe Biden. Straight up. I have to disagree. I think it's the same Joe Biden, except his body has been taken over by Chinese nanodrones. I've been telling you all along. I was sitting there vaping in my truck the other day, and I realized Joe Biden has always been the same guy. He's not been replaced. He's just had a plethora of Chinese nanodrones fly directly into his anus, and they performed Chinese MK Ultra from the inside out. All right, and they turned him into a robot. All right, he's like a Chinese android. And so the only way he's ever going to be able to possibly heal from the inside out would be as if he got right with God. We should all pray for Joe Biden. It's the same Joe. He's just under MK Ultra of the Chinese nanodrones. And you can like, subscribe, or don't. At any rate, I digress. I don't know at which rate I should digress, but I'm going to find the proper rate one day at which I should digress, and then I shall digress at that rate. But until then, all right. Whew. Okay. Gonna have to turn the air conditioner on after that one. Folks, the only time I wash my hands is if I shit on them, and that only happens tops 2 or 3 times a week, tops. Other than that, I don't wash them. Can you handle that? I don't wash my hands every time I go to the bathroom. See, I love Carlin, but at the same time, Carlin did Hollywood movies and he did corporate commercials. Those are the knocks on Carlin. He kinda was kinda in the club. Not fully. He wasn't a big player. He never got busted for doing anything weird, not even fake busted. So he was able to get through his career nice and clean. But he did do Hollywood movies and he did do some corporate commercials. So there's always that knock on Carlin. To my knowledge, I am 100% squeaky clean. Last time I checked, never did a Hollywood movie, never did a corporate commercial. So I'm 100% my own independent man, my own independent. I'm an independent comic, and I don't answer to anyone. No one tells me what I should or shouldn't say, and so I would say I'm the modern day George Carlin, except I never did Hollywood movies, never sold out, never did any corporate commercials. So I'm actually the real deal, George Carlin. And see, I have to be the one that tells you that, as narcissistic as it is, because there's no corporate dollars to tell you that. There's no shills to tell you how fucking great I am. I have to tell you how fucking great I am. And then it's up to you to agree or disagree. Why is it every time a white man walking down the street talking about Obama? Obama invited me to the White House talking about a black man. Every time a white man talking about a black man walking down the street, Will Smith slapped the shit out of me. Remember when Will Smith slapped the shit out of me? That was the most famous shit I done did in the last decade, was get slapped the shit out of by Will Smith. I still got summertime ringing in my ears. So as I was saying, I'm the modern day George Carlin, except I never sold out. I like to refer to myself as the funniest, greatest, best comedian who ever lived or will ever live. And I know that's narcissistic, but I'm me, and I know what I have already done and said, and I know what I'm capable of, so therefore I'm comfortable in saying I'm the funniest motherfucker in the world. And I'm not kidding, I believe it, because it's true. And many people who watch me will agree with that fact. Because if there was somebody funnier than me, I would watch them regularly and talk about them and promote them. But there isn't. But there isn't. One time some guy tried to say, no, Jake, you're wrong. What's his name? Norm Macdonald is the greatest, most funniest of all time. Oh, really? Norm Macdonald is mostly famous for making jokes about how O.J. Simpson is a murderer and got away with it. He doesn't make any jokes talking about how O.J. didn't kill anyone and the whole thing was fake. So fuck Norm Macdonald and his fucking stupid dead ass. How's that for a joke? Rob Jones says, how do you respond to the rumors you were replaced? The smart people can tell you are definitely a different person to the guy in the early videos. Oh yeah, man. They replaced me with a guy who's funnier than I used to be. Current Jake, as in the one talking right now, is fucking more hilarious than the guy he was 7 years ago. That's because he got better at doing this job. That's how I respond to that. I got better at doing this and I evolved. I didn't used to be the funniest guy. I became the funniest guy. I never used to tell people I'm the funniest motherfucker in the world. I never used to. In 2020, I fucking figured it out. In my own head. In 2020, I figured it out. Let me explain it. So here's how it works. All the mainstream comics didn't have any shows to do. And they had to go online and be like, go out and get your jab and stay 6 feet away from everyone. I hope we go back to normal. That was like all your mainstream comics, all sitting at home, all talking about how you should go get your jabby. Meanwhile, I was the real comic, like, oh, these motherfuckers are sellouts. They're not funny. And here, I can go live on YouTube and crush all of them. So in 2020, when I would go live, there was no comic going live and competing with me. So I found out, holy fuck, when the world comes to a halt during a pandemic, all the mainstream comics come to a halt with it and don't do jack shit and don't say anything funny. In fact, they do the opposite of funny. They start promoting the jab. So in 2020 is when I figured it out after a big Deemster's trip. I'm the funniest motherfucker who ever existed in this place. And they can't stop me from being the funniest person ever. In fact, that makes me a dangerous man. I'm dangerous because I'm so fucking hilarious. So unpredictably hilarious in all the right ways. Dangerous man. Once I figured all that out and I realized, okay, is there another comic that has figured this out and is implying any of this to their routine? Nope. There isn't. So, after I started exploring the limits of being the funniest person, started really dialing in my impressions. And then looking around at my competition, all the touring comics who do big arena shows just repeat the same shit. Corporate comedy. So my wife, da 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 da, and my kids, blah blah blah. So if you go watch a corporate comedian, you won't get the same comedic performance that I'm doing. You're going to get corporate mainstream comedy based around the world stage all being real. I'm the only comic that's going to give it to you without any limits, without bowing down to any corporate sponsors, and tell you as much truth as I possibly can at the same time. So basically, that's the secret sauce. I tell the truth, I add my own humor, and nobody is doing anything like what I'm doing. And I know it because I exist on the internet and I look for other people doing stuff. And there is no other Jake the Asshole. So I know that's all narcissistic as fuck sounding, but in order for me to figure out that I am the funniest, I had to come to that conclusion. And there's no corporate dollars in place to tell you I'm the best and the funniest. So I have to do it. There's corporate money that will tell you Dave Chappelle, the fake Dave Chappelle, who I've exposed, that he's the funniest. There's corporate money and shitbags who are like, oh my God, Dave Chappelle, he's so funny, he's the greatest. I saw him recently and he was so funny. There's corporate dollars that can make people say that currently Dave Chappelle is the GOAT. When currently I have destroyed the fake Dave Chappelle. I've proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that motherfucker ain't the real Dave Chappelle. And my comedic performances have dominated anything fake Dave ever did. I think real Dave was funny as fuck. So I ain't gonna say anything bad about real Dave. Real Dave was awesome. But fake Dave right now, fake as fuck. And there's corporate money pushing fake Dave in our face. And people still saying how great Dave Chappelle is. Meanwhile, the independent comic, the non-sellout comic, says that's not the real Dave Chappelle. That's a fucking dude pretending to be Dave Chappelle. In fact, Jim Breuer won't even come out and fully admit it because he's a goddamn shill bag. In fact, let's segue into my next topic. Jim Brewer's a goddamn shill bag. Looks like I might have missed the... No, I didn't. Okay. All right. Okay. So let me show you what Jim Brewer's been up to. Remember Jim Brewer almost admitted Dave got replaced, but he didn't. Now let's see what he's been up to. There we go.
Rothschild. Yeah.
Okay, so here we have Jim Brewer's podcast, and he's going to do a podcast with Mark Sargent. How many people know Mark Sargent here in chat? Anybody in chat who knows about Mark Sargent want to tell me about Mark Sargent? I know if I have some hardcore subs here who've been watching for a long time, I don't got to tell you who Mark Sargent is. You should already know. Somebody tell me about Mark Sargent right now in the chat. Somebody who's smart in my chat right now who knows about Mark Sargent, tell me what's up. There we go. Michael H. coming in fast. Flat Earth shill. Damn right. Flat Earth disinformation agent. One of the main ones. The main one that if you type in Flat Earth, that dude's face pops up on ABC News. Like 20 million views or whatever. Q and V says, I can, of course. He's another flat earth shit fly. Yeah, but Q and V, you know, like I do, if you type in the word flat earth, this motherfucker's face comes up on the mainstream news. So he's always the go-to guy for the mainstream news interview about flat earth. Mark Sargent always gets the call. How is that possible? Huh, if he's not a shill. Oh, he was also in the hit piece documentaries, which makes the topic look ridiculous. He also attends and hosts every Flat Earth conference. So all of the international Flat Earth conferences, Mark Sargent is there. And the Oktoberfest Flat Earth Conference, Mark Sargent is there. He's one of the main hosts. Every time there's an international Flat Earth conference, there is a mainstream comedian from TV who will infiltrate the conference and troll the flat earthers at their own conference. And we had Logan Paul do it once. We had a guy from, there was a guy from Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon's show, one or the other, that showed up and trolled them. And so what they do at these conferences is they always let in the mainstream media comic to poke fun at the flat earthers and interrupt the conference and cause a scene at the conference. And of course, it's all staged and scripted. So they tried to get me to go to these conferences, and I turned down every one of them. And I called this guy out for probably, I don't know, 5-6 years. Probably 6 years I've called out Mark Sargent as a shill. So here's the deal. You have Jim Brewer having Mark Sargent on his show. What that says to me is that Jim Brewer doesn't research his guests and doesn't pick out his own guests. Because if Jim Brewer was a real, genuine truther, if he really cared about the truth, then he would have looked in the background of Mark Sargent and he wouldn't have picked him to represent the flat earth topic. And another thing, before I even start the video, I can go down in the comments section. Here I am. I don't know if this will show up or not. Probably not. But I'm saying Mark Sargent's the biggest shill. And then underneath Mark's comment, there's people calling him a shill and calling out Jim for having him on the show. Look at this. Comments keep getting deleted here because I already called Marky Mark out and mine keep disappearing as well. See what I'm saying? So here's people calling out Mark as a shill and saying their comments are getting deleted. Thanks for rolling out the intelligence disinfo version of Flat Earth. Hell yeah. The algorithm now only promotes shill. And when you search Flat Earth, Mark is promoted to the top of the algorithms. Dead on. Dead on. These commenters know what's up and know those aren't me all commenting. Those are people who I don't even know who are basically speaking my words, right? So if Jim was a genuine truther, he would know that Mark Sargent is the biggest flat earth shill of them all. And he's like the main one who does mainstream media interviews. So this basically will discredit Jim Brewer in my book. You guys can trust him if you want to. This is all up to you. But in my book, Jim Brewer, 100% shill bag. I understand why he might not want to say what happened to Dave, but this right here, this is bad shit right here. All right, now I'm going to play it. We're going to get into it.
Makes all the sense in the world. And I have no problem saying that. I want the world to know, yes, Jim Brewer is open for the flat earth world. And it makes way more sense than a spinning ball. That's all I'm saying. Okay. I think climate change that hasn't happened every 10 years are scaring you and the world's going to change. Plymouth Rock is still where it's at. There's so many things here that you've been lied about and fibbed about, and you learned and you took tests about it That was BS. So, with that said, is that how I label you?
By the way, you're going to catch so much hell for saying that, by the way.
So in a way, this is almost going to be like a humiliation ritual for Jim, because anybody who watches this who's like a Joe Rogan fan, like a typical uh lightly red-pilled a person who still believes in the world stage, but they're like slightly red-pilled, like a Joe Rogan fan, if they see this, they're going to think that Jim is crazy for even considering the flat earth topic. And of course, Jim's bringing on a flat earth misinformation agent who sucks at presenting the topic and who's like the main guy that the mainstream media uses. So this whole episode is designed for you to reject flat earth. And in a way, it's going to be a bit humiliating for Jim, because those who are in the know about flat earth don't listen to Mark Sargent. And those who are against flat earth are going to think that this is stupid, and they're not going to be swayed. So anyone who's dead set that flat earth is stupid ain't going to be turned into a flat earther by whatever is said on this podcast. If anything, they're going to be repelled away.
I don't
I know.
care.
I know.
I don't care. I want you to prove to me. This is what I tell people. So where do you get information? Well, the scientists have proved that they lie. Who's getting another shot?
That's right. It's true.
Who
That's right.
didn't take ivermectin because it didn't work?
Jim's gonna be overdoing it. Hey, do you guys want to talk about something? Flat Earth. Scientists might be wrong. Does that make it funny? No, it doesn't. Nothing that he said was funny. There's no punchline. He's just like, scientists lie sometimes. Not funny. In fact, it's like he's trying to overdo it with a bunch of physical humor. And there isn't anything humorous there, bro. Watch him try and go from, I'm a cool dude in my sunglasses. I'm cool. I'm slick and I'm totally laid back, bro. I got my sunglasses on. And then watch, he's going to like try and turn on a bunch of like physical humor without any actual humor attached.
And I was 100%. I want everyone to know I was 100%. This is stupid. This is the. So, with that said, is that how I label you?
By the way, you're going to catch so much hell for saying that, by the way.
I don't care.
I know.
I don't care. I want you to prove to me. This is what I tell people. So where do you get information? Well, the scientists have proved that they lie. Who's getting another shot?
That's right. It's true.
Who didn't take ivermectin because it didn't work? They lied. So I don't want to hear you learn from a scientist or school.
Right.
Because it has proved none of that it's all nonsense. All right, sorry, I'm going.
No, it's okay. And to your point, I do a section on a podcast every Tuesday called, and I've been doing it now for 2 years, called Lucky Unlucky.
Yeah.
Where I say, okay, if you're lucky, you caught some sort of weird side effect that reads like a book of witches spells. And if you're unlucky, you catch suddenly, unexpectedly, short illness, brief illness, blah, 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 and then you're done. So yeah, absolutely. I'm totally with you there.
So before we get into this, if you don't mind, Mark and Jim, I saw something. Now, this guy's a flat earther. And that is definitely a name that people like to throw around.
Right.
And it's like, it's an insult. It's just another insult and a way to poo-poo people.
Sure.
I saw this video, and this is something that everyone listening and watching, you can go test it out. So here's a guy explaining to you why we believe what we believe and why the Earth most likely is flat.
Right.
This guy brings up a totally different situation. He says,
to make us feel that way. Rothschild, yeah, who prints those books?
So the topic was gaining serious traction in 2015 and 16. And then in 2017 is when Mark Sargent did the disinformation documentary Beyond the Curve, or Behind the Curve, whichever it is. And that's when they changed the algorithm to where the first thing that popped up was a bunch of mainstream hit pieces against the topic. So they started burying anyone making pro flat earth content, real flat earth content. And they started promoting all of the mainstream media hit pieces. People think the earth is flat in the year 2017? You've got to be joking. But Mark Sargent says he's serious, and he's here to talk to us today on the news. Mark, are you serious? You think the earth is flat? Well, I just think that this. And Mark would present it in a very vanilla, not very convincing way. And Mark doesn't bring any good globe debunks to the table. And so basically, he's a guy who doesn't really get people to convert and get off of the globe. And instead, he's basically there to get you to reject the idea and stick with the globe. And yes, there used to be a chick named Orphan Red who was all up on Mark Sargent's nutsack for a while. But not a lot of people are going to remember that. Yes. For those of you who've been around a long time, yes, there was a flat earth hoe bag who basically tried to be like the flat earth floozy. She was like smart, and she wanted to like be all up on Mark Sargent's nutsack at the same time. I think she's on OnlyFans now. I don't know. All right. Captain with a name I can't pronounce says, "Hey Jake, didn't Mark and company participate in a flat Earth movie that made fun of the topic Behind the Curtain?" Yeah, so that's what I was just saying. Mark was the star of that documentary, and that was on Netflix, and it got like, I don't know, millions and millions of views. I don't know, 30, 40 million by now. I don't know. Somebody could maybe find out the exact deal, but I know it's got tens of millions of views. And if you type in flat Earth in the search bar, Mark is the first one who pops up, but it's him on an ABC News clip. So it's always a mainstream media clip that Mark is attached to. And that's not by accident. That's planned that way, right? It's not one of my videos that pops to the top. In fact, they buried my video. But we'll see if Mark gets around to actually proving anything or actually presenting the topic. We'll see if he says anything worthwhile.
Do you know who prints
so he goes on to say, Ghislaine Maxwell's father prints our books. No, wait.
No, I mean,
Milwaukee, the Great Fire of completely, almost entirely wiped out.
Entire continent is not on the UN flag and instead is replaced by these giant spiky Greco-Roman wreaths on the outside. It's like, wow, that's kind of interesting.
Right.
I mean, Antarctica is at least as big as Australia at the bare minimum, if you believe what science tells you, but it's not there.
Although I have to say, I don't trust the UN, anything about it. They want to be, they want the United States to be under their control. No, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, we know
so.
that. But what do you think, Mark?
Yeah.
When did you A, because I don't like the bags under my eyes. They really bother me. So that gave me an excuse to be like, hey, we're going bunker, put on the glasses. When did you start? When did you start diving into this?
2014, after I had.
OJ and Toothpaste says, remember when RV did a stream with Mark? Yeah, well, RV's another shill. So in a moment, I'm going to get to how you can identify a shill, and all the shills promote the same model, and and can be all debunked the same way. And Q and Fee will know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm actually going to show one of Q and Fee's video clips in a little while to show you guys that the model that we're being handed, a AE map or UN logo with a circling sun and a circling moon. It's the wrong model of flat Earth. It's the disinformation model, and it's got problems just like the globe, and it's not correct. And so I'm going to go over some of that in this video, because basically everybody who promotes misinformation in the flat Earth all seems to stick with the AE map and the moon and sun doing circles. And that's provably wrong. The moon and sun don't just do circles over the flat Earth. Thank you, OJ, for the donation. So check it out. The only graphic I'm able to find by skipping around in here is the UN logo. Watch. That was like the only graphic that I saw. There it was. For like a second. Yeah. This is it. And then I'm looking ahead, like I'm scrolling through right here and trying to see if he shows any diagrams and actually explains anything. But he doesn't. No diagrams. Just that UN logo is all he's gonna give us. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to the whole hour and 33 minutes. But just going through like this, I'm not seeing any graphics. I'm not seeing any sort of globe debunks. Like if Q and Fee was showing something, we would see a globe up on screen and him showing in time and date why the sunrise is not matching up, or why one of the stars isn't matching up to where the globe believers think it is. So just going through here, I'm not seeing any sort of diagrams. They're just talking. So right away, I know Mark's just going to give talking points. He's not disproving the globe. You can't disprove the globe just running your mouth. You actually have to show. You actually have to show something. So the fact that he showed up to Jim's podcast and he only brings the UN logo and he doesn't have anything else after all these years, where's your fucking globe debunks, bro? See, that's why I have to call out Mark Sargent as a shill, and it's super obvious. He's not bringing any globe debunks. He's just talking and bringing a UN logo to the table. And this guy right here says I'm attacking my own. No, I'm not. Now you're banned. When I'm talking about shills, I'm not attacking my own. If I say the Earth isn't a globe, and then somebody like Mark Sargent, who calls himself a flat earther, is on TV talking about flat Earth, I'm not in his club. We're not on the same team. What I'm explaining is he's on Team Evil, and him and Jim are shitbags, not actually debunking the globe. And they're pushing the AE map circling sun version here. So just skipping ahead like this, he's not showing any NASA fakery. He's not showing any space debunks. He's not showing any globe debunks. Just running his mouth. They're just chit-chatting. A real globe debunk, you're going to have to like pull the cartoon ball up on screen, start pointing at it and explaining things. And nobody's doing that. So I would say that's exactly what Mark Sargent was brought on to do. Flash you the UN logo, but not prove shit. Q and Fee is over in the Netherlands, where it is like, what is it, like 5, 6 in the morning over there where you're at, bro? I don't know, 4 or 5 in the morning, and he's still awake, still kicking, because he knew I was gonna talk about him and show one of his videos. So he's hanging in there. Damone Epperson says, my dog is watching. He don't like profanity. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Maybe your dog should go in another room, because I like to cuss whenever I feel like it. All right. So, for those of you who've ever looked into the flat Earth topic, let me show you some what I like to call expert level flat Earth. And this is a Q and Fee video, which explains how one sun going in a circle over the AE map is impossible. And I wish more people would refer to Q and Fee or myself whenever this argument is brought up, because we've brought this up time and time again, and yet it still seems to be an issue. We still have to keep explaining it year after year. All right, so this is Q and Fee's video. Let me take it off of 1.25. And give Q and Fee a sub if you haven't yet. He put out great work. This video is from September 27th, 2020. So this one is an old video, but it's still relevant information. This is a video you can go back to year after year, and it's always going to be true.
Hello everyone, my name is Karen B, and I wanted to tell you all happy Equinox. This graphic that so eloquently explains how the seasons happen on a flat Earth, and it is because the sun is on a circuit above the flat Earth, and it goes in between the tropics, the Tropic of Cancer, the equator, and then the Tropic of Capricorn, and it does not go outside of these lines because that is the sun's set path. There are people who are not flat earthers who think that flat earthers are dumb enough to actually think that is the sun's set path. And it does not go outside of these lines.
Australia and Africa seems a little bit too far north.
I got a super chat coming in from Tom. Says all sports that has a bet line is rigged. All politics are rigged. All currency is rigged for control. All main and most social media is rigged. All medicine and food is rigged for population control. All people division is rigged. Basically, everything you said is correct, sir. Thank you, Tom, for the donation, buddy. I appreciate that. So, let me explain a little bit about what we're looking at, just in case anyone is lost. So what the majority of people who believe in flat Earth will say is that the sun goes around in a circle over the top of the flat Earth, and this is provably wrong. You can't have one sun be everywhere at once and light up the whole map properly and get all the daylight hours correct with just one sun. And you can't get it right with just one moon. And so in this video, Q and Fee is going to basically debunk a flat earth agent, a disinfo agent named Karen B. She's a nasty witch. And this nasty witch, Karen B, is going to try to fudge her way around the equinox, having one sun go in a circle and rise for everyone from due east and set due west. And Q and Fee is going to correct her, and you guys are going to see how that works. And away we go.
The Tropic of Capricorn should be in the center of Australia.
And it does not go outside of these lines. This graphic that so eloquently explains how the seasons happen on a flat earth, that so eloquently explains how the seasons happen on a flat earth, and it is because the sun is on a circuit above the flat earth.
So you're telling the flat earthers the sun never go out of its path? What is this? Look at the sun. It runs out of its path. Sorry to bring you the news, but the moon also makes those angles.
And it goes in between the tropics, and it does not go outside of these lines because that is the sun's set path. In between the tropics, the Tropic of Cancer, the equator, and then the Tropic of Capricorn, and it does not go outside of these lines because that is the sun's set path.
Look at those rise and set angles. Or you want to explain this away with magic flat earth reflection, just like the ballers do.
So here we are. This is my area. I'm here in the southeastern United States, here in North Carolina. When the sun is over the equator, that is when the equinox happens, when it's passing over the equator. Okay, and the sun does travel from the Tropic of Cancer, which is north of the equator, to the Tropic of Capricorn, which is south of the equator, okay, over a period of time during these seasonal changes. In other words, it is the moment at which the center of the visible sun is directly above the equator. Let's just go over the equinox a little bit, because a lot of people think that the equinox is a proof that the Earth is a globe, but actually, really, it's not. Not only is it not a proof of the globe, it actually works much simpler and much easier on a flat Earth. When the sun is over the equator, that is when the equinox happens.
Okay, so one thing that she is correct on is that the equinox does not disprove the flat Earth theory. So globers will say, a globe believer will say that the equinox disproves flat Earth theory. And the reason they think it does is because the sun has to go around the equator on the equinox. So the sun would have to be directly above the equator. And on the flat Earth map, it would have to be going in a circle on the equator. The problem comes in when you have people down there in South America at the tippity tip of South America down here. They're going to see the sun rise from due east and set due west. And then somebody up here in the United States is going to see the sun rise from due east and set due west. Somebody up in Canada will see the sun rise from the east and set west. Meanwhile, the person on the equator is seeing it rise from east to west. So how can one sun be down here at the tip of South America, rising east to west, and on the equator, and over here in the United States at the same time? How can one sun be everywhere at once on the equinox and be on the equator? The answer is it can't. But that doesn't mean it's a globe. It just means that there's not one sun going in a circle. And Q and Fee's about to explain exactly why and model it up perfectly.
When it's passing over the equator. In other words, it is the moment at which the center of the visible sun is directly above the equator. September 23rd, here we are. This is my area. I'm here in the southeastern United States, here in North Carolina. It actually works much simpler and much easier on a flat Earth than it does on a globe Earth. It is because the sun is small and close, and the light is a localized light, and it is traveling its circuit from inside to outside its circle, north and south of the equator, around the plane Earth.
How can the people on the equator see a 90-degree sunrise at the same moment you see it? The sun travels over the equator, according to you. So that sun must be a lot of closer to make that angle over the equator. We can only keep the line on the equator when we place the sun very close. How can your location have almost a 90-degree sunrise? That's September 23. Sunrise 7:05. Azimuth 89.71. And at the same moment, at the equator, the sun also have an azimuth of 90 degrees, 90.34.
Okay, so real quick, I had a super chat come in, and I'll just quickly answer it, and then I'll get back to the video. OJ and Toothpaste says, "Who are the biggest top 5 flat Earth shills?" David Weiss, number 1, because he is the rich dude who lives in Greenwich, Connecticut, who's the head honcho of the Flat Earth app. He makes the most money. So David Weiss makes the most money and has the most money to throw around at like promoting himself and the app. So David Weiss, number 1. I would say Mark Sargent, probably number 2, because he gets to do all the mainstream media press. So Mark Sargent is who most normies are going to see on television or in the Flat Earth documentary, making the subject look stupid. Mark Sargent, 2. I'd say Eric Dubay, number 3. Eric Dubay pushes the vegan diet, which is harmful to your health. He's also dressed up like a lady. He tried to call me a shill, and he promotes one circling sun going in a circle over an AE map, and he's been debunked by myself and Q and Fee, and he ignores all of the information and doesn't change any of his views and continues reading his script. So Eric Dubay, controlled opposition, number 3. Number 4, I would say RV Truth, Russian Vids would be number 4. If I say his name and show his face, the video will get taken down. Russian Vids is so well connected to YouTube and is such a shill, he can instantly have any video taken down, which shows his face and gives his real name. I've tried 3 times, and it comes down every time. So what does that tell you? So over on BitChute, if you want to see what Russian Video's name and face looks like, I've exposed and doxed him over there. Number 5, I got to go Jeranism, because he's got Globers hanging out on his channel. Jeranism at number 5 for letting Craig fight the Flat Earth and MC Toon set up shop on his fucking channel week after week. There you go. There's my top 5. All right. So what Q and Fee is showing on screen, in case anyone's confused, is that on the equinox, the sun should be right over the equator according to the flat Earth model with one sun. And everyone on this same longitude here is seeing the sun rise from east to west. Everyone on the equinox is seeing the sun rise from due east to due west. And so Q and Fee is showing with this computer program that not only is it rising from east to west on the equator, north of the equator and south of the equator, the sun is rising from the east to the west. And so how can you have all these places with a due east sunrise and a due west sunset with only one circling sun? You would have to have the angles triangulating, but they don't.
This is time zone -4. This is time zone -5. So we have to take an hour off of this. So now here the sunrise. But this angle is over 90 degrees. So the angles become wider. They don't meet, they don't triangulate.
Okay, the point of this video is that an equinox is entirely possible on a flat Earth and is much simpler to explain. It actually works much simpler and much easier on a flat Earth than it does on a globe Earth, and is much simpler to explain.
Same problem with the sun in the south. It have to come from the equator. How do you fix that? Because the people on the 35th latitude south see a 90 degrees east sunrise. And that is impossible in this presentation.
When the sun is over the equator, that is when the equinox happens. When it's
Okay, so in this example, you would need 3 suns. And if there's only one sun that's on the equator during the equinox, then how can somebody down in South America see the sunrise from due east and set due west? How can someone north of the equator see the sunrise from due east and set due west? So this shows you would need, in this example, 3 suns. Am I saying there's 3 suns? No, because if you add more observers, you need more suns. If you zoom in and you add more observers, let's say 10 observers, now you need 10 suns to pull it off. So one sun going in a circle can't be everywhere at once. And if one sun was going in a circle, then these angles would triangulate back to only one sun. But that's not what happens. We don't see triangulation.
it's passing over the equator. It is, well, September 23rd. Let's just go over the equinox a little bit, because a lot of people think that the equinox is a proof that the Earth is a globe, but actually, really, it's not. Not only is it not a proof of the globe, it actually works much simpler and much easier on a flat Earth than it does on a globe Earth. And I'm going to show that to you today.
Until now, you show me nothing. You show me the same crap as on the globe. It's impossible to have a 90 degrees east sunrise over a full longitude at exactly the same moment. Where have you been the last couple of years?
To show that to you.
All right, Tom coming in with a couple super chats. One second, Tom. Let me go back and grab the other one. It says Klaus Schwab runs the whole damn thing. And then the second comment says, wouldn't let me type his name in the previous chat. Yeah, YouTube is picky and choosy about what they want to let you or me say in the comments. So check it out. A flat earther who doesn't know their shit will think that one sun is going around in a circle, and they'll just think in their head that all these sunset and sunrise angles must triangulate back to one sun. But that is not the case. So what's really happening is that there's 3 angles like this. See, so there should be a sun rising here and here and here. So in this example, you would need 3 suns all rising from due east, directly due west, and you can't have that happen. And so guys like Russian videos will say, I'm going to debunk Jake and Q and Fee, and then he'll
Now you show me nothing. You show me the same crap as on the globe.
What Russian vids will do is he'll draw his own lines. What Russian vids did with me and Q and Fee is that he said he's going to debunk us and it's going to be so easy. He just drew his own lines of triangulation and said that we're debunked. So these shills are very dishonest. They won't show you the real angles where the sun is supposed to rise and set. They'll just lead you to believe that there's one sun going around in a circle and all these angles triangulate perfectly. So when Q and Fee showed that the sun will rise down in South America from the east and up in Canada from the east, and showing that you would need 3 different suns in this example, Russian Vids says, oh, Jake the asshole and Q and Fee are easily debunked. And then he just draws his own lines on the screen and triangulates the angles back to the sun himself and denies the actual official data. And so these shills can easily trick people. And Russian Vid's video is up right now on his channel claiming that he's debunked me and Q and Fee. And he literally just drew these lines to one sun and just denied that there actually is no triangulation. If the sun is rising from the east and setting to the west, not only on the equator, but south of the equator and north of the equator. So what this means is one sun going in a circle is impossible. And anyone who says that there's one sun going in a circle is wrong, provably wrong, and they're pushing disinformation. So that means Eric Dubay, David Weiss, Mark Sargent, Jeranism, Russian Vids, and the list goes on and on. Everybody who pushes one sun going in a circle is a liar or pushing disinformation unknowingly, and they're a useful idiot. Who do I hate more? Jaron. Jaron filed a false restraining order against me. I've never met Jaron, and he tried to get a protective order against me because I was exposing him so badly. I was exposing him and who he really was and causing him to crack. And so he went to the Merced County Courthouse because he lives in Merced. He lives in the same state as me, but I don't live near him. I live like 100 miles away from him or more. I don't know the exact mileage, but I live a couple hours drive away from him. And he went to the Merced County Courthouse and filed a protective order against me. And I've never met him. And guess what happened? I didn't show up, and they threw the case out because he's never met me, and there is no evidence of me threatening to do anything to him other than expose him. In fact, Jeranism challenged me to a penis measuring contest, a literal penis measuring contest where the loser would have to leave YouTube. And when I said, that's weird and gay, and I'm not doing that, then he went and tried to file a restraining order against me. So he first challenged me to a penis measuring contest. And when I refused, he thought he needed a protective order and tried to go get one. So I have had actual shills, real fucking government agents, try to take legal action against me. So if people think I'm just paranoid or I'm a hater, making shit up, trying to start beef, no. I have had fucking shills call the police on me and have police come to my fucking family's door and ask where I am, and they want to talk to me about my YouTube. Yes, that has happened. A false restraining order, that's like a big deal to try to get a protective order against someone. That's not some willy-nilly thing that just some random man does. Like Jeranism is like a 6'4", 220 pounds or so shill bag who's challenging me to a penis measuring contest one day and then the next day trying to get a protective order against me. This is some sick, twisted, dirty pool that these people play. And beings I've tangled with these men online, I know who I'm dealing with. And so if people think, oh, there's no such thing as shills, Jake's just making it up, and this is just some fake internet beef. Oh no! If you type in my name, Jacob Gibson and Jaron Campanella, you're going to find that fucking false restraining order. It was for real. Yeah, he literally challenged me to a penis measuring contest in front of all his people. And his audience is like, yeah, measure penises. And I was like, that's the weirdest thing anyone's ever asked. No, I'm not doing that. And I'm just going to keep exposing you because you're a shill. How's that sound? So what is the correct flat earth model? Ah, great question. So I don't have that answer for you. And that annoys people because I can tell you which ones are wrong, but I can't tell you which one is right. And I don't have the right one for you. And Q and Fee is going to tell you the same thing. Q and Fee can tell you which ones are wrong. And all his videos are based on proving how all of those models are wrong. But he doesn't have one to show you that he can tell you is 100% right. Right, Q and Fee? Would you like to explain that, Q and Fee? Do you have a model to show everyone, Q? I don't. I can tell people what's wrong with the current ones presented to us. Q's better at it than I am. Q and Fee has knowledge of and experience with modeling software. So because he's able to use modeling software and he's really good at it, he can match his arguments with the modeling software and destroy somebody's argument in time and space. And I don't have that ability. So I don't know how to use the modeling software, and I can't model my arguments up in the way he does. And so I've actually asked him to help me out by modeling up arguments for me. So when I asked him to help me debunk Russian vids, I wanted him to use his modeling software so that I could match my argument with Q and Fee's modeling software. And so the fact that Q can model things up and actually prove it in time and space with a physical model, that's the reason why nobody messes with him. None of the shills will mess with Q and Fee. He says, don't stare too blind on maps, people. So anybody who comes with a model, I'm very skeptical. So Vibe of Cosmos with his moon model, I know that some of those pieces of gray area, dark gray area on the moon, if you fill it in with green, and then the light gray areas, if you fill it in with blue, you can kind of make something that looks like a map. And some of the continents do kind of match up. But then I notice they take liberties in certain areas. They add blue where they want, they add green where they want. And then there's these extra pieces of land right there that would be extremely noticeable. And so can you really plot Atlantis or Lemuria right there in front of everybody without us knowing or ever finding it? I don't know. I find that hard to believe. So another thing that's wrong with the moon map is nobody can point out how the sun and the moon work over the moon map. So, okay, there's a moon map. Well, how does the sun work over the moon map? You can't just spin one sun in a circle over the moon map because we already just found out that one sun going in a circle don't work. And the thing about one sun going in a circle not working, that also applies to one sun going across the map and starting over. So if you have a Mercator map, rectangle map, and you have the sun go across in a straight line and start over, you're going to run into the same issue the sunrise and sunset angles are not going to match one sun going across in a straight line. So whenever you have one sun over any of these maps, you're going to run into problems. And so there's something magical, basically, for a lack of a better word, going on with the sun. And here's the best I can explain the whole thing. They tried to separate the sun coming up and going down from the flat earth topic. And Q and Fee and myself are like two of the only guys who will tell you the sun does come up and it does go down, and the earth is not a globe. And so they tried to separate sun coming up and going down as being only possible on a globe. And on a flat earth, the sun can't go up or go down. It has to stay above and go in a circle. And so they divorced these two things and separated these two ideas. And two of the only individuals to come along and say, hey, well, maybe it's flat and the sun goes up and goes down. Well, how can the sun go up and go down and it be flat? Well, that's what's fucking happening. And so that means we must be all seeing our own sun. That's about the only thing I can come up with to make sense of it. We all are seeing our own sunrise and our own sunset. The sun does rise and it does set. You see it come out of the ground. You see it go into the ground. So anybody who pushes that there's one sun going in a circle and that it doesn't go down, well, that's misinformation, because we all watch it go down. And if you watch a car go away from you, a train go away from you, a plane go away from you, it doesn't get big and gigantic and go into the ground. So when you watch the sun up in the sky above your head at noon, it's bright and smaller. And then as it's going down, it gets orange and less bright and big. That's like the opposite of what something does when it goes away from you. So if someone says the sun's just going away from you, well, that doesn't match observation. So what you have are flat earthers denying their observations in one sense, the sun going up and going down. But then they'll say, oh, my observation is that there's no curvature, and I observe the earth being flat. So what we have is flat earthers picking and choosing when to use their observations and when not. And so a guy like Eric Dubay, Mark Sargent, David Weiss will say, oh, there's one sun going in a circle, and it's just perspective. That's their favorite word. It's perspective. Perspective doesn't solve the issue that Q and Fee presented, where you're going to have 3 observers, 3 suns in his video example. You can't fix the problem. You would have to have a sun for each observer. The more observers you add, the more suns you would need. If all these angles magically triangulated back to one sun, then it would be simple and easy. But that's not what's happening. So if there was one sun, all the sunrise and sunset angles would always tie back to that one sun. Same with the moon, but they don't. So the fact that this has been brought to David Weiss's attention, it's been brought to Eric Dubay's attention, it's been brought to Jeranism's attention. You know what they do? They don't fix their information. They lie and say, oh, no, it works perfectly. So a guy like Eric Dubay will say the equinox works just perfectly with the sun going around over the equator, and everything works perfectly, just as it should. It's like, no, literally it doesn't. So I've tangled with these guys, confronted them. So it's not an issue of them not knowing. It's an issue of them purposely lying. So all of these shills have seen my content. They've seen Q and Fee's content. They know they've been debunked. Even the Globers have debunked one circling sun. And so they keep repeating the same info. And that's how you know that they're shills. It's basically anyone still pushing one circling sun over an AE map is a useful idiot or a shill, or both. Yeah, see, and then we've heard every excuse. So Q and Fee will debunk something inside and out with his modeling software, destroy it. And somebody will go, I don't know. Well, what about perspective? What about reflections off the dome? That's another one. Reflections, perspective, reflective perspections, perspection reflectives, dome. Ooh. So people think that if you point at above and go, there's a dome and reflections, that magically fucking fixes all the problems. No, it doesn't. You can't have a reflection of the sun magically light up all the sections of the earth and magically cause the sunrise and sunset to be everywhere at once where it needs to be. You would have to prove something like that. So we've heard every excuse. So why is it there's only two guys admitting we don't know what it is and proving it ain't a globe and it ain't a circle map with a circle sun? So each year I have to repeat this information, and this is basically where I'm stuck at. I don't know what it is. I don't know what this place is, but it's not a globe, and it's not a circle map with a circle sun and a circle moon. That ain't right. Ryan Watson says, Jake, did you see the vid of a guy filming the eclipse at the same time he shows the moon to the left of where he was filming the eclipse? I didn't see that, but I heard a lot of strange stories from people. I asked in a community post about what you guys saw, and I got, I don't know, 400 comments ranging from nothing, it sucked, to, oh my God, it was beautiful. It looked like a cat's eye. It looked like a fake eclipse. They staged the eclipse. I heard it all. It was breathtaking. It was amazing. There was chemtrails in front of it, and I didn't see shit. So I heard every possible explanation about it. I didn't personally see this last eclipse, so I couldn't tell you. Matt Powerland went to Mexico and started rubbing mud on his face, and he started calling himself Matt Power Clay, and he started trying to sell mud. I don't think he had a way of making money anymore, and nobody was watching him anymore, and so he tried to like start selling mud by rubbing mud on his face and claiming that it's anti-aging. He was like brushing his teeth with mud and rubbing mud all over his face and head and talking about how he's like not aging anymore and he's like found the fountain of youth and it's mud. That was the last I heard. Okay, so we'll go ahead and flip-flop topics now. And I wanted to show an old video from 2021. It wasn't that long ago, but it seems like an upside down world. So I want everybody to remember back like 3 years ago when they were giving away incentives to get the jab. Does anyone remember when they were like, oh, you can get a free Whopper if you come take the jab? $5 gift certificate to Best Buy if you come take the Jabberooski. Right? You guys remember that? We'll give you a free medium fry and a soda if you come take the Jabberibadoo-doo. So, I just want to point out that it wasn't that long ago that we lived in an upside down world. So let me go ahead and show the upside down world. This is a video that I made on my backup channel because I got a couple strikes on my main channel here. And this was back when I was exposing that the boogeyman disease, the C word disease, wasn't real. And so I got a couple strikes, and so I had to retreat to my backup channel. And I made this video on my backup channel. So I know a lot of you guys haven't ever seen it. But some of you, the hardcore subs who've been following me for a long time, have seen this video before. And so this is one where they gave away free lap dances in order to get people to take the jab.
To get your vaccine, get your shot today, and you can get free dances from a local strip club.
Larry Flint's Hustler Club is among the sites offering COVID-19 vaccinations this weekend. And this morning we have Fox 5's Dave Hall to tell us all about the perks. And kudos to Kaja, our producer, for putting this story so high up in the newscast.
Oh my gosh.
Today, you can tell your loved one, hey, honey, I'm going to the strip club, and she might not divorce you. And here's why. From 4 to 7, you can come here and get your COVID shot and then all kinds of other perks. So here I am. I'm right outside Larry Flint's Hustler Club. Yes, the boss has told me to stay 500 feet away from the doors, which is just fine. My wife would like to keep it that way anyway. So again, from 4 to 7, you can come out here and either get the Pfizer shot or the Johnson & Johnson shot. You must be 21 or older, and you must not have received any other vaccine at this point. So again, it's either the Pfizer or the Johnson & Johnson shot from 4 to 7 today. And then at 7:30, I'm told the entertainment begins. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I've never ventured inside these kinds of places before, but I think I can figure out what it means.
Jams, jams, jams. Jams, jams, jams. Jams, jams, jams.
But once you come here and get your shot, man, listen to this perk package. You get a Platinum Club membership, free bottle, limo rides, tickets to another sexy show that they're touting. It's like a package worth $5,000. And again, the main reason is they're trying to encourage people to get their vaccine shot, you guys. So you guys, I'm big on like funny sayings and stuff. I need you guys to judge these for me. I was on the Google machine this morning. Like if I was the marketing director for this event, this is what I would have come up with. Jab for a jiggle.
Yeah, we like that.
We like it.
A poke to feel stoked.
Oh my God.
I like the first
A
one.
booster to crow like a rooster.
Oh.
A shot for things to get hot.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And a hit to get lit.
All right. All right. Gosh, there's got to be a few people out there that have resisted for this long for one reason or another, whether they don't believe in the vaccine or they want more information on it or something to that effect. But this is going to be the thing that gets them over the hump. But this is going to be the thing that gets them over the hump.
Jams, jams, jams. Jams, jams, jams. Jams, jams, jams. Jams, jams, jams.
Guys, it wasn't that long ago. This is only like 3 years ago. Right? You think that that's the last time anything like that'll happen? Tom says, I'll take a jab if I get to purchase some food of my choice from Walmart to feed to Gates and Bezos and Musk and watch an eating contest. Oh, okay. That's the only way you'd take one? Well, good to know. Thanks, Tom. How about little Yini Yoni for Taco Tuesday? Oh, Yini Yoni. Oh, you want me to sing my Mexican song, huh? All right, we got a request for me to sing my Mexican tune. All right, so I sing Mexican music, but I don't speak Spanish. So that means I make up Mexican sounding gibberish in the form of what I think all Mexican songs sound like. And it sounds something like this. Rum pum pum pune 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 rum pum 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 and you know your name na na ne 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 your name my yacho ne 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 your name na na you know your name digalo ne 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 rum pum 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 and when I want to you know you know and yes Mariana is mariacha you know your name Mariana and digalo ne digalo. So that's every Mexican song all rolled into one, and I don't speak Spanish. There you go. Anthony Clay says New York City mayor offered burgers and was being nice. Then he fired all city workers who refused. That sounds about right for New York City. Sounds about par for the course. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. Make sure I didn't miss any. Got one from Tom coming in, says sell out to watch the shit show. I got a bunch of laughing emojis who seem to be enjoying the show. That means they enjoyed my Mexican music. I don't know. What do you guys think is a bigger hit? Land on the Moon or my Mexican gibberish song? I don't know. That's a tough call. If you had to pick one as your favorite, which one? Land on the moon, we land on the moon. Land on the moon, we land on the moon. Take the rover, we go to the moon. And then you know that we come back soon. We rove to the left, we rove to the right. And then you know that we rove all night. We land on the moon, we land on the moon. Land on the moon, we land on the moon. Land on the moon, we land on the moon. We land on the moon, we land on the moon. We take the rover, we rove up north. We take the rover, we rove down south. We take the rover, we rove in your mouth. And then you know that we rove all about it. We land on the moon, we land on the moon. Land on the moon, we land on the moon. The fuck am I doing? Why do I do that? Why do you guys make me do that? So stupid. Just kidding. I love it. Thanks for making me do that. Tom says land on the moon all day, bro. That's right. You know why I sing that? Because it's fucking funny. Every time. It hasn't gotten old yet. That's why people are requesting it. And everyone thinks it's funny. So it hasn't gotten old yet. We want to pray to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, can you please let the rover and the rocket make it successfully to the moon? We paid a lot of money to assemble the rover and the rocket. And the rocket, we hope, is a successful launch attempt. Will you please, Lord Shiva, we beg of you to please let the rover have a successful landing on the moon. And then we want to take control of the rover and we wish to go roving to the left. We want to go roving to the right. One thing we want to do is go roving all night. We want to rove up north. We want to rove down south. We kind of want to sometimes maybe rove all up inside your mouth. We want to rove this way. We want to rove that way. We want to rove every which way that we can all day. We want to rove all upside your head. We want to rove until we're dead. Please, Lord Shiva, have mercy. Amen. Bing. There you go. So they prayed, and that's how they made it to the moon. All right. And if you want me to repeat what I just did, that's not going to happen because it's impossible. Trump accent, land on the moon. All right, let me try my best here. We're going to land on the moon, land on the moon. One thing China knows is we're going to land on the moon. India thinks that they're big time now, that they've landed on the moon. When I come back as your president, the greatest president that there ever was, the greatest country that there ever was, the greatest space force that there ever was in the history of this great country. When I come back as your leader and your president, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to implement Trumptricity into the Space Force. And between Jeff Bezos and myself and NASA and Elon Musk, we're going to get together and we're going to go to the moon. All right. We're going to go to the moon soon. We're going to go better than ever before. We're going to have more fun when we get there. We're going to be meaner, greener, cleaner. We're going to succeed far harder than any moon mission has ever succeeded before. There you go. Tom says, Return of the Doink. Well, Tom, see, I kind of want to keep Return of the Doink shelled up until next season. That way, when it does come back, everyone's like, yay, it's back. So Return of the Doink. Like, you're sending me a super chat, so now I feel inclined like I have to do it. But I don't really want to do it. I want to save it for football season. That way, when I do say Return of the Doink, there's an actual doink to go along with it in an actual game that just happened, which makes it legit. And then that's when everybody loves it the most. So I feel like singing Return of the Doink when there's not a doink just on command is not quite as magical as when I do it during the season when it happens. Does that make sense? Well, I tried to tell you so. Yes, I did, but I guess you didn't know. They be messing with your goals, and there's magnets in the poles. You lied to me. All those field goals I thought were so real, you lied to me. Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. You lied to me. All those field goals I thought were so real, you lied to me. Oh, now I cry, cry. Return of the Doink. It is Return of the Doink. Come on, Return of the Doink. And another ball hits the pole. Return of the Doink. Once again, Return of the Doink. Oh my God, Return of the Doink. And another ball hits the pole. Don't you know? All right. Got Tom coming in with a Do It, Jake the Asshole. I just done did. Just done did it for you, Tom. I felt inclined because you're paying me and requesting it, but I would prefer to not sing it again until football season. And I have plans to record a professional version of that and Land on the Moon. I need someone to help me. I don't know how to do it all myself. If I do it myself, it'll turn out half-assed. So if I can get somebody who's good at recording and who's on the same page as me, and we can focus on making the funniest Land on the Moon song ever, I could probably make something that every time you listen to it, you would just fucking crack up. But it would take probably a few days, maybe a week, of sitting in a room and just hammering it, and making it as funny as possible. So I need to find somebody who can help me with that mission, because I don't think I can do it myself. I'm just not good at recording. Tom says, love your show, bro. Good wind down for my job. Oh, Glad you enjoy it, man. Thank you for donating. Thank you for participating and all that jazz. So now we got a request that I do the Trump supporter voice. Okay, the Trump supporter voice sounds like this. The reason the mainstream media is always talking bad about him is because they want you to vote for Joe Biden. That's why I'm going to vote for Trump. When they say Orange Man bad, that's how I know Orange Man good right now. Trump, he's down there with the white hats. He's down there in them tunnels, saving all them children. You know, all them children that are getting trafficked by all them P. Diddy diddlers hired by Biden. That's right. Biden hired all the P. Diddy diddlers. And right now, Trump is down there in the tunnels with the white hats. And he's saving all them children. You know what Trump's going to do? When he comes back, he's going to execute them. That's what he's going to do. All these celebrities who you done seen get replaced, the real one got put in Guantanamo by Trump. The real Dave Chappelle went to Guantanamo. That's why there's a fake Dave Chappelle. The real Eminem got busted. He went to Guantanamo. That's why there's a fake Eminem. JFK Jr. is going to come back. Trump is JFK. Trump Jr. is JFK Jr. Jesus is Trump. I done read on the Q message boards that Trump is Elvis and also JFK and JFK Jr. at the same time. And he's been president this whole time while fake Joe pretends to be president. And the reason there's a fake Joe is because Donald Trump's been in control the whole time and put the real Joe in Guantanamo. If you didn't trust the plan, then you don't know nothing about what's going on. I was trusting the plan the whole time. That's why I know all about what's going on. Shady Davy D. LaFleur says over 500 in chat. Hit the like button. Yeah, good call. If you're having fun here tonight, show me some love. Hit the thumbs up. It does help the algorithm to like promote this to more people. I think. I don't know. It just feels good. So smash the thumbs up. It's quick. It's easy. Just do it. It's like a Trumper isn't smart enough to realize that they switch from conservative to Democrat either every 4 years or 8 years. One side doesn't just keep winning. So it's not like you're going to get Trump Jr., JFK Jr., and just a bunch of people who are exactly like Trump and JFK Jr. forever. No. You know what will happen? You'll get Trump for 4 years, and then you'll get The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and Oprah. So even if you love Trump and think he's a good guy, all you're going to get is 4 years. What's he going to do? Fix the world and then what? Walk away? And then The Rock, Dwayne Johnson takes over with Vice President Oprah? Seems to me the world's going to go to shit either way. So even if you believe in Trump, all you're going to get is 4 years. That's all you're going to get. And then a Democrat's going to take over. So if you look at the way the election swings back and forth, right? We went from Reagan to Bush to Clinton to who was after that again? Was it then Bush again, and then Obama, and then Trump, and then Biden. So they go from conservative to Democrat either every 4 years or every 8 years. So there's not like a 20-year span, 24 years of nothing but Republicans winning or nothing but the Democrats winning, right? Like recently, the last bunch of presidents, they just switch it back and forth. And so if you're a diehard conservative, you have to be ready every 4 years or 8 years to be pissed off for 4 years or 8 years, right? If you're a diehard conservative who complains every time a Democrat's in office, then that means you have 4 to 8 years where you're just like a miserable piece of shit talking shit all the time. And then when your guy who you like let's say Trump is in office, then for 4 years you get to walk around with your chest up pretending like America's fucking awesome, only to go back to being pissed off when the next Democrat takes over. So stupid. I think Suge knows who shot Suge. It must have been the same nobody who done shot Tupac. And if nobody done shot Tupac, it must have been the same nobody who done shot MLK. And if it was the same nobody who shot MLK, it must have been the same nobody who done shot Malcolm X. And if nobody shot Malcolm X, then I guess don't nobody need to be worried about nobody getting shot, if you know what I'm saying, boo-boo. I went to one of Puff Daddy's parties. He was trying to get me to do some of that booty hole stuff, but I was like, hell no, and I got my black ass up out of there. Ain't trying to do no booty hole stuff with you, P. Diddy Doo-Doo. Oh, sure, cat. I totally believe that a little tiny feminine dwarf like you never did any gay stuff behind the scenes. Totally, bro. I buy that, because you're so manly. Right? Now, again, find me a comedian who can jump in and out of these voices and make you laugh the way I do and present them to me. They don't exist. There is not a comedian who can do what I have done here tonight. What I have done here tonight, I've proven yet again. I am the funniest motherfucker who ever lived or will ever live. Nobody will ever be able to touch this brand of comedy. And if I keep firing on all cylinders, I'm going to be the best for the next, I don't know, 10, 20 years, maybe longer. Maybe I can keep this going for 30 more years before I finally get too old and decrepit to be funny. I don't know. George Carlin stayed funny for a long time. So that means I might possibly be able to keep this going for 30 more years. I don't know. 40 more years until I croak. I plan on being the funniest motherfucker until I die. And if anyone comes along who starts to challenge me, then I'll try and improve my funny business to make sure I'm the best. How's that? Owen Benjamin is way funnier and way taller. Good joke. Like that time when he went on InfoWars with Alex Jones and talked about butt plugs and lube for 20 minutes. So funny. Remember when he went on Alex Jones' show? You know, controlled opposition agent Alex Jones. And he went on there and kissed Alex Jones' ass and did a terrible Alex Jones impression that's not anywhere near as good as mine. And then he talked about butt plugs and lube for 20 minutes. Remember how funny it was when he said butt plug and lube? Easy, Trigger. Oh, that's your hero. You know, the one who scammed his audience to obtain his land that he's on. And now that he's a failure shitbag, who most of his fans don't care about anymore. Now he has to go on Joe Rogan, or not Joe Rogan's show, Alex Jones' show, InfoWars, to try to get publicity. I saw him on the Baby Truther show with Jaron and David Weiss. Baby Truther show, Alex Jones show. Not looking good. That pretty much means for sure he's a shill. And then when you add in the fact that he scammed his audience for the land that he lives on and didn't provide all the services that he said he would, yeah, that makes him 100% a shillbag. And he's also provably not as funny as me. I know funny is subjective, but it's also provable. He's straight up nowhere fucking near as funny as me. Here's Owen Benjamin's one voice that he does. Here's the one voice that I do. I'm Owen Benjamin, and I do this voice whenever someone annoys me. That's the one voice that he can do. Oh my God.
I'm like gonna sound like a weak version of Cartman right now. Oh my god, my bears are upset with me because I don't let them come and sleep on my land.
There you go. That's the one voice that he can fucking do. Not many bears left. Exactly. And he's getting sued by one of his former bears. It looks like he's going to lose. You guys know right now he's getting sued by one of his bears. And it's causing him a lot of stress and causing him to freak out a little bit on camera. It's quite hilarious. I didn't see the Tom Brady roast. Of course, it's staged. It's a bunch of mainstream comics roasting Tom Brady, of course. So, of course, it's going to be staged. I used to like the roasts back when I was a sheep. But, you know, since I've been awake to conspiracies and everything, it's hard for me to get into mainstream media shitbag comedians trying to roast Tom Brady without really actually roasting him for real. You know? It's like they kind of rib at him, but then they talk about how great he is. So that's what they do with all these roasts. It's like the roast of Donald Trump. Oh, Donald Trump has funny hair and he does this or that, but he's also a great guy and I love you. So every roaster will always end their set by going, and he's a great guy and that's why we're all here because we love you. We love you, Tom Brady. That's why we're roasting you because we love you. So whatever they say about the person, which might sound like, oh, they're really going hard on Tom, they always end by going, and we love you, and you're the greatest quarterback ever. Folks, I recently invited Owen Benjamin onto my show, and I thought that he was going to provide some insight into what's going on the world stage. But instead, he talked for 20 minutes about butt plugs and lube. That's all right with me because I happen to sell lubrication and male vitality products on my websites. And so Owen Benjamin is all right with me. He's going to help me take down these damn globalists. We're going to talk about butt plugs and lube for 20 minutes. We're going to bring these damn globalists to their knees. I'm fixing to eat my neighbor's ass right after I get done interviewing Owen Benjamin. Owen, glad to have you on the show. Hey, thanks for having me, Alex.
Oh, God, I'm going to come on the Alex Jones show and I'm going to talk about butt plugs now. Oh, God.
Hey, Alex, I saw you were selling male vitality products, and it reminds me of how much I like lube and butt plugs.
Talking about butt plugs.
Thanks, Owen. That's some very intelligent conversation that we're having here. Tom says Jacoby Brissett was better, but we'll never know. Yeah, Jacoby Brissett is a better quarterback than most all of the current starters. But whenever he's told to throw an interception on purpose or lose a game, he automatically will throw it right to the other team. So Jacoby Brissett will drop dimes and buckets and move right on down the field. And then he'll suddenly just throw it right to the other team. And so if you go back and look at highlights of Jacoby Brissett's good throws, it's obvious that the dude can drop dimes in buckets anywhere on the field. But the fact that his name is Jacoby Brissett and he's just an average looking black man, he's not marketable. And so you can't make money on him. So you can't turn him into a superstar. But since people will bet against him on occasion, they have to have him win. And so when he wins, he looks fantastic. And so on games where there's a ton of money against Jacoby Brissett is when he has those games where he drops dimes and buckets and kills it. And then when you expect him to win a game for you is when he sucks. And so that's when I figured out, okay, Jacoby Brissett is better than Tom Brady, except they won't allow him to be better than Tom Brady. I get it. Okay. So that's when I figured out like how good a guy can be just by looking at all the throws he can make. And then when it comes time for him to throw an interception, he just throws it right to the other team. And it's like, dude, those last 3 passes were perfect. And then you just look right at the other team and then throw it right to them suddenly when you're in the red zone. How does that work? So, yeah, the fake greatest of all time is Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the fake greatest quarterback of all time. If the games were real, he would have never even been a starter. He would have never won even one Super Bowl. The fact that the Patriots were always given a dominant offensive line and a dominant running game, even years where they didn't have a great running back, they would still have 2 guys that could chew up a bunch of yards. Always. So Tom could always just hand off to some random running back, whether it was LeGarrette Blount or Corey Dillon or whoever. And the running backs would always gash for a bunch of yards. And so then when you see, oh, when Tom Brady leaves the team, then suddenly they don't have a good offensive line or a running game anymore. Funny how that works. Yes, Tom Brady is like the Queen of England, just rich and no talent. Yes, Tom Brady was to be the second coming of Joe Montana, except they wanted him to be greater than Joe Montana. So that's why they gave him so many Super Bowl appearances and so many Super Bowl wins, so that he was undoubtedly, unquestionably the number 1 GOAT, to where it wasn't even an argument. And then what they're going to do with Mahomes, they're probably going to have Mahomes win almost as many as Brady, to where there's an argument between Mahomes and Brady being the GOAT. And if they are to have Patrick Mahomes three-peat, and then he doesn't win as many rings, but he has the three-peat under his belt, you could then say arguably that Mahomes is just as good as Brady because he got the three-peat. But he would need to get the three-peat to be able to arguably stand up to Brady. So if he never wins another Super Bowl after the three-peat, the fact that he would be the only quarterback with the three-peat, if he gets it done, that could be enough to say that he's the greatest of all time. So I kind of am expecting the Chiefs to go back to the Super Bowl. The question is, will they three-peat? Might come down to how much money's on the game. And I hope to God I don't mess up on this next Super Bowl, because it sucked to lose that last one. John Zimmer says Patriots winning during highly publicized war was never the narrative. No, just a coincidence. Oh yeah, totally just a coincidence. AK Wolverine says, love your content, Jake. Here in Alaska, I've seen the sun do circles in the sky in the summertime and the moon do complete circles and barely touch the horizon during winter solstice full moon week. And so, yes, I've heard that argument. And so what I would counter that is that in December, it does the opposite. So in December, someone in South America is going to see the sun rise from the southeast and set to the southwest, which is the opposite direction of the circling sun. So in the winter, in the southern hemisphere, nothing matches the circle path. So even if I grant you that the sun appears to be going in a circle for you in Alaska during those summertime months, I would say we're all seeing our own sun, and somebody south of you won't see it go in a circle. And then it provably doesn't go in a circle on the equinox or in the winter. It provably ain't going in a circle then. And so that's where I come to the argument we all see our own sun. And we're living in some sort of artificial realm. So perhaps we are the organic, real material. And the stuff we see in the sky is the artificial inorganic things, the magical stuff that we can't explain. So I say the sun is doing something impossible, magical. The moon does something impossible and magical. The clouds, the stars, they all are magical and impossible if you really think about it. And you can't touch any of them. You can't feel any of them. You can't go to any of them. You're stuck here on the ground. You can grab a handful of soil. You can touch things here on the ground, but you can't touch the stuff in the sky. So that stuff in the sky, we're being separated from the magic of it when we take mainstream science narrative of the sun being a gigantic fireball and the moon being just a gray rock that people walked on. They take away the magic of what's going on. So if you believe people walked on the moon and the moon is just a gray rock, that's not magical, not even slightly. But if you know nobody walked on the moon and the moon is something that's unexplainable, well, that's a lot more magical. If you know that the moon isn't something somebody walked on and you don't know what the hell it is, then it's suddenly a lot more mysterious and magical than a gray rock that somebody walked on. Whoa, got a bunch of super chats all coming in at once. Let me try and get all of them without missing any. Okay. David LaFleur. Tom says Andrew Luck quit because he knew what was up. Yeah. See, I don't think Andrew Luck wanted to be a year after year loser. And I think when Andrew Luck found out he wasn't going to be a main guy winning Super Bowls, I don't think he wanted to be a mid-tier guy. So he quit. So I think Andrew Luck quit because he didn't want to be, another Cousins. You know what I mean? Another oh damn, who's the Saints quarterback? God, going blank right now. He didn't want to be another mid-tier quarterback, so he quit. I think he was expecting to be like the second coming of Peyton Manning, and then the NFL scriptwriters are like, "Yeah, no, you're not. You're just going to be like just another mid-level quarterback." No, who's the current Saints quarterback? My mind's going blank. I can't believe I can't think of it right now. Not Breeze was a Hall of Famer. Breeze won a Super Bowl and had a Hall of Fame career. Carr, thank you. God. Yes. So I think that Andrew Luck was basically going to be another David Carr or Kirk Cousins. Good enough to go to the playoffs, but not good enough to win the big games and go to the Super Bowl. Definitely not going to win a Super Bowl. So I think that Andrew Luck figured out that he was basically just going to be Derek Carr. Maybe you get to go to the playoffs one year and then the next year you don't. And he was like, nah, I think I'm just going to quit. See, that's why I wanted to give examples of that mediocre quarterback where it's like they're good enough to have a few playoff runs, a few seasons where they have a winning record, go to the playoffs and look good, but they never look great, and they always blow it in a big game. And so Derek Carr I think he's set to make like $90 million this next year, and he loses all the big games, and he throws interceptions in all the big games, but when there's enough money bet against the Saints, that's when he wins. So the Saints are one of those teams with a quarterback like Carr, where if a ton of money's bet against him, he'll look good and have a 3-touchdown, no interception game. And then if you think, oh, okay, he had a good game, so I'm going to bet on him this next week, that's when he shits the bed and throws 1 TD and 3 picks. Same with Cousins. And so I bet this next season you're going to see Kirk Cousins look a lot shittier than he did the last couple seasons. Adam Morgan says, fantastic points and critical thinking. We got to stay willing to change our outlook. We need these conversation, respect. Yeah, man. I have to talk about this stuff with you guys, or else I don't have anyone to talk about it with. I can't talk about this stuff with my family, right? And don't really have a large circle of friends. And so this is how I get the information out, you know? I have the urge to tell the truth, and you guys are the audience who I spew my truth at and my jokes. So thank you for being here and donating. I appreciate that, man. Make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Scott Goria says, would you agree the last Super Bowl was proof that it's not all about the money? So that last Super Bowl was the third Super Bowl ever where the public won. And so there's been 3. And the reason why I wish I would have paid more attention to that is 33 times like the public got paid, or the public lost, and then like only 3 times the public won. And so this last year was one of the only times in the history of the Super Bowl where the public won. And so does it happen? Yeah. But, you know, I would make the same pick next year if I felt like the majority of people were on one team. I would always take the team where I feel like there's less money. So I feel like I'm going to get burned the less amount of times as long as I fade the big money. But I'm not going to win every time, obviously. Tom says, sorry for the NFL talk. Love your channel. Oh, well, we're in open chat mode right now. So I like to finish off my streams doing open chat, open topic, whatever you guys want to talk about. Whatever you bring up in your super chat, I just answer the question or react to it, whatever. And I got one from I'm Rigged, who has a specialty request, Goatus versus Mag. Let me see what I could put together here. I don't want to wear my hat if I'm going to do a Goatus impression. When an animal out in nature gets horny and wants to hump, they will simply find another animal to hump. And that is why whenever I get horny, I simply refer to my natural instincts and I find an animal to hump. There is no sign on an animal saying that you should eat this or that you should not hump this. So it is up to us to decide what we do out in nature. Let me tell you something right now, people. This is some bullshit to please the masses. What is talking right now is full of shit. There's no such thing as nature. It's just a dumb shit to please the masses. I'm gonna hit you with a bam. I'm gone. Let me tell you something right now, people. Vern Troyer is an animatronic robot. There's no such thing as a Vern Troyer. He's a little animatronic robot. It's a dumb shit to please the masses. I don't know why I always bring up Vern Troyer whenever I do the Mag impression, because Mag literally said that Vern Troyer is an animatronic robot. That's one of the reasons I stopped liking Mag. I was like, whoa, Vern Troyer is an animatronic robot? Proof? Proof, buddy? No, no proof. Just Vern Troyer's an animatronic robot. And then another thing I didn't like about Mag was he pointed at cartoon pieces of land outside the ice wall and said that that's the Garden of Eden where we come from. You can't point at cartoon pieces of land that you have never been to and can't prove exist and say that's the Garden of Eden where people come from. So that's why Mag is a total shill bag. I like some of his work, but if you really go back and dig through Mag's work, he says some ridiculous, stupid shit. Let me tell you right now, people, there's no such thing as a Vern Troyer from the Austin Power movies. He's an animatronic robot. Let me tell you right now, it's a dumb shit to please the masses. Vern Troyer is a robot. I actually had one of my subscribers say that he met Vern Troyer, and it's funny because the story he told sounded totally true to me. He's like, Vern Troyer came in to my office, and I knew a friend who knew him, and I met him, and my friend stuck him up on the counter, and he's like, I can verify Vern Troyer is not a fucking robot. The guy that thinks I'm a shapeshifter is Aaron Haywood. Aaron Haywood, who lives in New Zealand, down under. Jake's a shape-shifting icon. He plays this fella named Nick Johnson. So yeah, Aaron Haywood claims I am a shape-shifting archon, and I shapeshift into different people. I haven't watched the Joe Biden Howard Stern interview. I can't stand Howard Stern anymore. And so to have Stern have the fake Joe on his podcast, it's like going to be cringy for me to watch. But I could probably find material to make fun of if I was to watch it. I just don't really want to. But I did see a thumbnail that those two did a video together. Man, Stern at one time in the 90s was like one of the hippest, coolest dudes on the radio that every guy listened to. And now it's like he's an absolute joke, just a total liberal turd sellout. He's nowhere near as edgy as he used to be. Yeah, Stern is part of the tribe. Exactly. He always was an industry plant. However, I would just at least argue that at least he used to be semi-entertaining. So in the 90s, he would have guests on, and he would say things that were more edgy to where, like, if you watched it on E or if you listened to the radio program back in the 90s, it was actually entertaining in some cases, if you were into that sort of thing. Whereas even as diehard fans don't listen to him anymore. So the people who used to love Howard the most in the 90s don't listen to him anymore. So his fan base has dwindled dramatically. I mean, he's lost millions of supporters. So they keep him up and they keep him propped up like he's somebody, but his support level has dropped so far that I don't really know anybody who likes Howard Stern anymore. It is extremely natural to make YouTube content about nature. You, of course, don't understand because you are a mentally ill slave. You see, money is irrelevant and it does not exist. And that is why you should send your money to me like you just did with your super chat, because money is irrelevant and does not exist. So therefore, since it does not exist in your mentally ill mind, you should send all of your money to me. That, of course, is Goatus. Anyone wondering, like, what character is that? That's Goatus. And I have a side channel where I do nothing but make fun of him. The side channel, it's quite amusing. It's nothing like this channel. I literally just make fun of this one guy, Goatus. And I have a international audience. A bunch of people from Europe like to watch that channel. And I only have 3,000 subs over there. But I get more than 3,000 views on every video. Whereas over here, I got 75,000 subs. And I rarely ever get more than 75,000 views on a video. I don't know how that works. I already sang Land on the Moon earlier in the stream. Rose says, J-Bag Stern looks like a T-word. I can't say that, Rose. What are you trying to get me taken off of YouTube, Rose? Your potty mouth? I'm Riggs says, you're a legend. We would have big problems if you ever sold out. I don't think they want anything to do with me because I have a big mouth. So yeah, I doubt they're ever going to come out. If they haven't come at me yet, I just don't know if they ever will. I almost feel like they let me do whatever I want over here pretty much and let me say and do pretty much what I want because I think the elites are entertained by me. They're not threatened by me, but I think that they're amused by what I do. I could be wrong. This might just all be in my head, but I feel like I'm so damn entertaining that the reason why I'm able to stick around on YouTube longer than other channels is A, I generate revenue, and B, I think I'm so damn entertaining that the elites are watching me right now and they love me. Even though I'm speaking out against them and exposing them, I think that they think I'm hilarious. And so they tell YouTube to let me stick around. There's some times where my videos on these streams, I say a lot of shit. And then they monetize it and let me run ads. And then other channels get their content taken down for saying less. So, I don't know. It's like they shadow ban me and don't let me get too popular. But at the same time, they let me get away with a lot more than other people. I don't know. Tom says, you said after week 16, KC wouldn't lose again. Yeah, see, the problem is then when I looked at the Super Bowl money on the websites and then did a vote and listened to who people were picking, the majority of people were picking Kansas City, and all the sites were saying that the majority of the money was on Kansas City. And so that's what made me pick the 49ers was I started thinking, oh, well, maybe the Taylor Swift thing was to trick everyone into betting on her and betting on the Chiefs. So I basically tricked myself out of that after I'd already figured out that the Chiefs were going to win. I tricked myself into taking the Niners because of what I perceived as too much money on the Chiefs. It happens. When you guess the outcome of pretend football games, sometimes you guess wrong. And it sucks. So this next year, I might only offer my picks on Patreon. That way I don't have to deal with a bunch of shitbags every time I get a pick wrong here on YouTube. So I might charge like $5 for my picks next season and only do my picks on Patreon. And then only do the top 10s and stuff here on YouTube. I might start doing that. The one thing I really didn't like was when I had a bad week, pick some games wrong, I would have a bunch of people like talk a bunch of shit, call me out like I'm some bad guy for guessing wrong. And I don't like that. I like being the good guy who's funny and awesome. Like right now, I'm the good guy. I'm funny. I'm awesome. Nobody's mad that I picked the wrong team right now. So that's the shitty thing about making football picks is people show up who just want the picks And if they don't win, they're like, fuck you. You said that the 49ers were going to win. They didn't. So fuck you. I hate you and I'll never listen to you again. So then I have to deal with the hatred if I mess up on a game. So I think next season I'm going to charge for my picks. And if you don't want to pay the money for it, then don't do it. So the only reason I did the picks was because I was getting a shitload of views and making a lot of money just making picks, whether they won or lost. So when I made picks, I would get 30,000, 40,000 views on just me making picks. And then I would look at the ad revenue and it would be like, you made $400. I'd be like, fuck, I made $400 just making picks? Damn. And so on a regular video, I don't make anywhere near that much money. But on my pick videos, because people watch and I can insert multiple ad breaks, I make way more money than any of the other videos, even if I don't make bets or win the games. Just making the video and the ad revenue was making me like $400 a video. So of course I was like, well, fuck, I have to keep making this video. Otherwise I'm just forfeiting money, right? And I was hitting enough games to where people were wanting me to keep making picks. So once I started winning, and once I went on a streak where I was up 10 games, 20 games against the spread, that's when people were like showing up in groves, like, dude, give us the picks. Give us the picks. We don't care about any of the other content. Just give us the picks. And then when I had weeks where I didn't do good, then they were like, your picks sucked. They were fucking horrible. Fuck you for picking those terrible picks. You better not make bad picks like that again, asshole, or I'm done with you. So people's attitudes would flip-flop real quick if I had a bad week. And so now that I'm not making football picks because the season's over, nobody's angry at me over it. You know what I mean? I can just do a stream, tell some jokes, break down the news, and nobody's pissed off at me. Whereas if I have a bad week, then I have to deal with like 10,000 dudes who are like, you're a piece of shit because you picked the Colts, and the Colts didn't win. The Colts didn't win, you stupid piece of shit. I fucking hate you. That's what I have to deal with. So guess what? Next season, I might just charge for my picks. If Zach Hubbard charges for his riddles that lose, I can charge for my picks that'll mostly win. So last year, I got caught up with the NFL content to where like it was almost like renting my life. Like the pick videos were getting more views than anything, and then the top 10 most rigged plays were getting the second most amount of views. And every time I uploaded one of those, my subscriber count would blow up with new subs. Money would come in hand over fist. And I was the main guy in the genre saying football's fake and making good picks. And so, it was causing me to blow up fast. So when things were going good and I had a good week, everyone's like, you're the best, you're the GOAT. But man, if you have 1 week where you go like 7-9, 7 wins, 9 losses, and you know that's like a 2-unit loss, people are like, you're fucking horrible. Your picks sucked. I told you the Colts were going to lose, and you picked them anyway. You suck. I hate you. That's how quick it turns. Yeah, I got to learn to ignore the fucktards. But see, I like interacting with my audience. And so I like to read the comments. So whenever I put out a new video, like my college campus video, right, where I broke down how this college campus shit is staged, I read your guys' comments. And I like your comments, most of them. And I respond to them. And I hit the heart button. And so part of me putting out a new video, I like to read the comments. So if I put out picks and then the picks lose, then I'm like, oh, fuck. Here comes 1,000 people that are going to be pissed at me and insult me. oh, and I don't even want to look at the comments. But then there's that part of me that does want to look at them. And so then I start looking at the comments, and then sure enough, this guy thinks football's rigged, but he gets all the games wrong. He's stupid. It proves that it's not rigged. And I'm like, oh. Okay. Stuff like this, I don't know what you're saying. Primal Warrior says, Jake, Rumble rule telling that you are ignoring. What are you talking about? There's over 400 people in chat, and I pick and choose some comments. I don't read every single comment. If you think I'm sitting here talking and right now reading all your comments, you're wrong. While I talk, I don't read any comments. So right now, not fucking reading any of them. If I have to go over and look at them, then I have to pick and choose one or two and then talk to that comment or respond to that comment. Seniority goes to people sending me money, of course. So anyone who's like, you're ignoring me. Yeah. It's like, dude, there's 400 people here. If I don't pull up every one of your comments, it's not because you're being ignored. It's because there's a lot of people here. And I pick and choose certain comments. And I don't read them all. Tom says, Jake, fuck them. You're correct. And Facebook or football is rigged as fuck. Facebook and football. When I see FB, I think Facebook, but that also probably means football. One of the greatest wonders in the galaxy is the black hole at the center of the universe. Perhaps there is a fallen collapsed quasar star, and if man was able to get close enough, we could see what it is like to be sucked into a black hole and transverse the universe through a wormhole. That's my impression of the box that talks. If you want me to do an impression of Stephen Hawking, it's this. If you want me to do an impression of the box, then it's the atom nearest the distant quasar may be a duplicate replicating sun at the center of the Andromeda galaxy. See, so it's like two different impressions. There's Stephen Hawking, a vegetable, and then there's the box that talks. It's like two different impressions. Marcus Miller coming in with a donation. Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate that. Rapture Ready says, any more buy me something date stories? Nope. I've only went on a few dates in the last several months, and they were the type of date where it's like the girl's okay, but just not a good match for me. And it's like a one-time date. Hi, nice to meet you. Bye. Never again. So I've only went on like a couple dates in the last several months, and both of them were like, okay, people, nothing like terribly wrong. It's just like not a good match for me. I'm quite a strange and intense dude, so I really have to have the right person to match up with. And I'm finding the older and crazier and kookier I get, the harder it is to find that match. And the older I get, the less of a pool there is to choose from. So there's that. I did a vote online. Everyone has their own favorite, but I did a vote, and people said that their favorite is Richie from Boston and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Those were the two favorites. So I still am yet to have a vote off between Arnold and Richie to see who is the number one favorite. But I basically listed all the different voices that I do, or most of them. Richie from Boston won the first group, and then Arnold won the second group.
And Elmo didn't even get second place. Elmo ended up getting like fourth place, which is bullshit. Elmo should be everyone's favorite voice, but people don't like when Jake does the Elmo voice as much as Richie from Boston, because they're fucking stupid.
Let me tell you something, Elmo. If you want to mess with the Macho Man, well, then you better get ready to step into the squared circle and step into a Slim Jim. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Beavis. Did you hear? Let me try and think of something before I go. I have to have a premise. I was about to just go into a Beavis and Butthead impression without a premise. Hey, Beavis, have you ever drank a beer?
Yeah. One time I found a beer, and there was some left over in the bottom, and I drank it, and I got drunk. It was cool.
You're a liar, Beavis. You've never drank a beer. You're a stupid, pathetic liar, and nobody likes you.
No way! I'm cool. My mom says I'm cool. I know I'm cool. Yeah, I kick ass.
No way, Beavis. You're a monkey spanker. Everyone knows that you spank your monkey, and everyone laughs at you. You have no friends.
No way! You're my friend.
Yeah, I'm like your only friend because you're like a loser, and I like feel sorry for you.
No way! You're a loser, and I feel sorry for you. Shut up, butthead. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Beavis, if you try to kick my ass, I swear to God, I will beat the ever-living crap out of you. There you go. I did mag earlier for a minute. Let me tell you something, people. Man does not come from the earth. Man comes from the Garden of Eden outside the ice wall. Let me tell you something, people. There's no such thing as an earthquake. An earthquake is unnatural. All the earthquake that man ever experienced was unnatural. In the Garden of Eden, do you think there was earthquake? There was no earthquake in the Garden of Eden, people. I was there. The mag was born in the Garden of Eden, people. Let me tell you something. It's just a dumb shit to please the masses. Leslie says Alex is her least favorite. Alex Jones or Alex Stein? My Alex Stein impression is purposely annoying. I try to make my Alex Stein impression like nails on a chalkboard. Whereas my Alex Jones impression, I try my best to make it as accurate as possible. I figured you meant Stein. So some people love the Alex Stein impression.
Alex Stein on the grind, 99 in the go all the time. I'm Alex Stein on the grind, 99 all the time. Alex Stein on the grind, 99. I'm a pimp on a blimp, eating shrimp. Pimp on a blimp, eating shrimp. You know how I grind. I be grinding all the time. Alex Stein, I grind all the time with the 99. Price Stein, 99 all the time with the 9.
Hey, yo, Paulie, we tried to order some Dominoes, and Polly, what do you think I'm dumb? What do you think I'm stupid? What do you think I got no brains? Adrian, Uncle Polly, what do you know about? I don't know Apollo. Hey, Apollo, what do you mean when we was doing class? What do you think I'm stupid? You got no brains? Oh, absolutely, you know, Uncle Polly, you know. Why don't you try knocking me down? You know, you knock him down. Why don't you try knocking me down now? Hey, yo, Adrian, what you think I can't win? What you think I'm stupid? Like I got no brains?
Want me to do an impression of a black woman? Here's every black woman. Girl,
Did you see what Cat Williams was saying? He was talking about P. Diddy. Girl, I'm telling you what. P. Diddy, he was Diddying them kids. I done told you, girl, he be doing all that Diddy shit. He be Diddying them kids, girl.
That's terrible. What was that? He be Diddying them kids, girl? What the hell was that? All right, strike that one from the list. That was a bad one. So I did Trump earlier, but basically I always tie my Trump impression to Trumptricity. When I come back as your Lord and Savior, excuse me, the greatest president of the greatest country, I'm going to implement Trumptricity into all your lovely homes. Trumptricity is going to be, of course, cleaner, greener, more efficient in every way compared to conventional electricity. Let's face it, conventional electricity is dusty, it's crusty, it's old. It's a lot like Joe Biden. So when I show up to my office, and Joe, if you're still in my office when I get there, I'm going to pick Joe up by his scruffy little neck, and I'm going to toss him right out of my office, and I'm going to look him in his beady little eyes, and I'm going to say, Joe, you're fired. Get the hell out of my office. You're fired. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have China pay for the whole damn thing.
If you want to have China pay for the whole damn thing, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to reinforce your freedom. Do you remember when I said screw your freedom? What I technically meant was you need to reinforce your freedom with screws. You need to take the screw, and you need to put the screw into the freedom, and it needs to be securely put in place because you need to secure your freedom. And once the freedom is very much secure, then you can get down to the chopper. I am going to vote for Donald Trump, and I support Trump in every way. When I said screw your freedom, I did not mean screw your freedom the way that you thought I did. I wanted to reinforce your freedom with screws. Get down to the chopper. I don't say helicopter because it's a nice time saver to say chopper. That is why when I say get down to the chopper, I am able to save time without having to say helicopter. Of course, if you say helicopter, then the bad guys are chasing you. They're going to find you. They're going to capture you. All right. Whew. Shit. Paul Bearer. I don't think I've ever tried to do Paul Bearer, so let me see if I can figure it out in the spot. Oh, Undertaker! I know your secret, and I'm gonna tell everyone your secret, Undertaker! Your brother Kane is alive! I saw Kane, Undertaker! He's coming back to get you on Raw next week, Undertaker! Oh! I don't know. What do you think? I think that's the first time I've ever tried.
you'll see, dead man, when you rest in peace due to your brother Cain. Ed McMahon. I don't do Ed McMahon, but I can do maybe a little Vince McMahon.
Unbelievable. He's gonna puke. The Undertaker. Shawn Michaels. The Heartbreak Kid. Bret the Hitman Hart. Unbelievable. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
There you go. Little Vince McMahon. And Rose wants me to sing her favorite Chinese song, which goes a little something like this. Ching chong, ching ching chong, lick a dick, lick a ding ding dong. Ching chong, ching ching chong, lick a dick, lick a ding ding dong. Me Chinese, me play joke, me go pee pee in your coat gong. There you go, Rose, just for you. Ching chong, lick a ding dong. All day long till I break my schlong. That's right. People pay me to do that. Do people pay you to do that? Do you know anyone who gets paid to do what I just did? Rose has paid me more than once to sing Ching Chong Lick a Ding Dong song because she likes it so much. I don't know anyone else who gets paid to sing Ching Chong Lick a Ding Dong song other than me. I invented it. People pay me in order to hear me sing it. So when people are like, what do you do for a living? Well, sometimes I sing Ching Chong Lick a Ding Dong. It kind of just depends. I'm a professional Ching Chong Lick a Ding Dong singer-songer. All right. Tom N says these college protesters are fake as funk. Yes, I went over that already in the beginning of the stream. I broke down the fake college protests, and I have a video. The last video I made was breaking it down. So we are in agreement. Justin Stevens says, I'm on fire tonight. Oh, well, thank you. It might be because I microdosed, if you know what I'm saying. Or it might not be. Might just be luck. I may or may not have. Well, I heard that they have weird rules in place where there's only allowed to be a knockout and it's not going to be a regular fight. And then I heard other rules that now it is a regular fight. So I don't really know what the rules are for it, but it's going to be some stupid scripted crap. My guess is it's going to be maybe slightly better than the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones crap. So go back and watch Mike Tyson, Roy Jones back in like 2021 or 2020, whenever that was. And look at how terrible that was. My guess is this fake fight will be slightly better than that one, but not much. And my guess is they'll probably have Tyson lose by decision, but look tough. So if I was going to pick, I would say Jake Paul wins it by decision, but Tyson looks tough. And people are happy that he goes the distance in the end, like one of those deals. Tom N says, I know, I watched it. I sent all yo shit to parents. Thanks, Tom. I guess we could go out with a little bass before I shut it down. One second, let me get all set up. I didn't have anything hooked up. All right. Wonder if we're in tune. Close enough. Oh. Whew. Whew. Ah. Phew. Okay, and that pretty much ate up all the rest of my energy. And now I need to eat some food and smoke a bowl and get off here. So, thank you guys for watching. Oh, thank you guys for chit-chatting. And for those of you who donated, a big thank you to all those who sent the super chats. So until next time, this is your favorite comedian and mine, Jake the Asshole, signing out. I'll catch you guys on the next video or the next stream. Y'all take it easy and the breezy for sheezy. And I'll see you next time. Peace.